Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call to order this regular meeting of the Seneca Healthcare District Board. We'll do our roll call first. Tammy's in the room, Shelley's in the room, of course I am. I don't think we have Rich on yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. Well, I messaged him to remind him in case he missed it, but, all right, let's rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, that brings us to item number 2, additions, modifications, and deletions from the agenda. We received a request after the agenda was finalized to add new critical access hospital skilled nursing facility PG&E easement. Requesting board consideration and approval of easement needed by PG&E with discussion and possible action item. And my understanding is that when the agenda was finalized, this didn't make it on there because we were still in conversations with PG&E and with legal counsel. And we've been advised that we need to proceed as soon as we can, so that way PG&E can get us in the queue to get the site scheduled.
Energized, yeah.
Energized. So, go ahead.
Do we need to make a motion to add this to the agenda?
We do, if the board is agreeable to it.
A motion to add this to the agenda.
Thank you. For a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, Ken?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. And let me know if you were done, okay? Thank you.
I'll let you know as soon as.
Thank you. All right, so that item will be added to follow number 8. So this will now become item number 9.
Thank you, board. I appreciate it.
So with that, that brings us to item number 3, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as modified?
I motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, Shelley?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
And I will vote aye. Okay. Now that brings us to our public comment period. We didn't receive any public comment questions or concerns prior to the meeting. Do I have anyone in the room or online who has any public comment to make? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to item number 5, approval of the March 4th special board meeting minutes. Board members had a chance to review. Any questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second. That'll be my job.
All in favor, Ken? All in favor, Ken? Hey, Shelley?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Thank you. All right, so now that brings us to our staff reports. Sean, you're up.
Yes,
The copy.
thank goodness. I do not have a written report, or I'm gonna do a very short verbal report. I think that there hasn't been a lot that's progressed, from the last board meeting, so nothing to really to report on. The, one thing I will bring forward is that there was some clarification around the rural health transform, the RHTP money, the grants that are coming out. It's help me out, 233 million for California for critical access rural hospitals. I can tell you that when the criteria comes out for submitting for these grants, we are spinning up at least 5 that I know of. We're gonna be chasing as many as we can. This is money that is specifically set aside with some parameters for rural health. And I think Jerry, you went to the AHA
Mhm.
and Brady went to the AHA and we've been on several calls. I know Steve's been on several calls. So just let the board know that we're gonna be chasing these dollars along with everybody else, obviously. But we have some things that we think will qualify quite nicely within the confines of the grants. So we're gonna be chasing that. That's gonna be something that we're gonna be doing all through spring, I believe. So just let you know, that's a lot of money and it can really offset a lot of our stuff.
Some examples of what,
Yeah, anything that is additional services, provides additional program or services. Workforce housing is one of them. Technology is another one. Jerry, do you want to help out here because you were there?
Yeah, well, we were gonna discuss it further during the board committee.
Oh, okay.
Item if you want to wait.
Yeah, let's just wait
Because I
that,
had
sure.
Yeah, because I had
Okay.
a document that I had sent Ethan to pull up when we drove
Okay.
that part, because
Okay.
I think, we may have some further conversation around what really truly will qualify too, I think, as they're finalizing things, because, from the presentation that was given at the CHA was very, very broad. it was not, it was like pie in the sky, kind of like, and you're like, no, that's not, we know that's not how it's gonna look, you know, it's gonna have to fall into specific buckets, so. That was kind of how it was presented, but it was also highlighted from that aspect that the dollars are not only available for rural facilities, they're available to anyone who is providing rural
So,
services. Right, or services to rural communities,
So we're
so
gonna be competing.
we're
Yeah.
competing, and technology is a big piece, and those companies are all lining up right.
yeah.
But,
Sure.
yeah, as Brady kept saying though, he's like, man, we're the belle of the ball for once.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, but anyway, but we'll talk about that, I think, a little bit more when we get to the strategic planning, sessions.
Yeah, we are gonna chase as much of that as we can, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think we already have several of them spun up, the language ready to go, so as soon as they come out, we'll be chasing them. We had our our regional CEO meeting. In Fall River Mills, a lot of really excellent information coming through there, the collaboration continues.
How many attended?
There were 6 hospitals, seven of them. So we were joined this time by Tahoe Forest and by Surprise Valley. So there's continued collaboration. A lot of the collaboration had to do with all the CEOs getting their heads together around specialties, because we can't support a specialty on its own necessarily, but we can support it as a rotation through the different 5 facilities. The MRI did come up. We were actually contacted by Humboldt, Southern Humboldt, that would love to do something similar, but would rather tag on to ours. And I'm like, or
We already,
we have 5 partners in this thing and they'd like to potentially tag on to ours. It really messes up our 5-day work week thing. And then there was some discussion about maybe splitting it up and, where we have 3 instead of 5 and they do another one. And I thought, no, that changes the whole pro forma. I have board approval for X. You all
You
have
think
board.
they'd be working with Del Norte and Mendocino and
Yeah, it's just the idea really caught on and they wanted to kind of tag on to what we were doing. And I basically told the other CEOs that all of our financials are based upon the 5 jumping in and not getting away or, so we need to really hold the status quo.
but we can share what we put together and how we put it together if they wanted to do
Absolutely,
something similar.
100%. All the information, all the financial information, everything we can share with them. But really a lot of interest from everybody about what we're doing, quite frankly, including Assemblymember Hadwick is really loving to see the fact that the rurals are starting to come together and be less territorial. Survivability is really around all of us, and we're starting to break that wall down a little bit. So good stuff there. A lot of discussions around the rural health money. So we see along that line, there was a lot of discussion around Kaiser Permanente and their activity in Reno. Originally, it was just the plan, and now they're talking about actually providing care. So I think that there's a lot of concern about to the east, especially for our more eastern facilities like Eastern Plumas and Tahoe Forest, about what it means to have Kaiser Permanente working within the Reno confines and what's it going to mean to Renown and everybody else. So there's a big dynamic shifting going on that we're trying to keep an eye on.
It's not necessarily a bad thing though, right? I mean, that area is growing.
It's not going to really affect us, I think, but the Modocs and the Easterns that are right there within within an hour of Reno, that could be effective. That could really change things. Especially
Is
for
Kaiser
something.
in Nevada at all?
Yeah, they are. They are now.
I mean,
Northern
but
Nevada.
before this. So this is big.
No,
this
so this is
big.
a big deal, and we all know Kaiser's the 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
They could probably buy Renown like a lunch date. But so there's some concerns with what's going on there. There was a discussion about the 340B programs that everybody's doing. And they've all been very, very successful. They're all very happy with their 340B programs. So we're watching that stuff go on. The big one was that Plumas District Hospital reached out to us actually directly before this meeting and said that they were bidding. SEMSA is leaving Blaston County. SEMSA is the Emergency Medical Services. They are pulling out of Blaston County, so it's up for a bid. Plymouth District called us and asked, hey, would it ruffle any feathers if you saw a Plymouth District ambulance rolling patients into Seneca? And I'm like, I don't care if they get rolled in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, well.
Well, as long as it doesn't, not a wheelbarrow, but the point is, they're asking permission, the reason is that Plymouth District Hospital is taking what they've done with CareFlight, because they run the ambulance there under the critical access hospital, and they are bidding on the entire Lassen County area that SIMS is gonna evacuate. And they're actually forming a new DBA, so it's not gonna be Plymouth District Hospital ambulances, it's Sierra East or Mountain Sierra East or whatever. So great move for them, but they were at least, they reached out to us first to say, hey, is this gonna cause heartburn? We are not in the business. We are not gonna get in the business. Peninsula Fire still has the exclusive operating area around here, Chester Lake Elmore Basin. So it really won't affect us except for things maybe coming from Westwood and some stuff east of.
I've already gotten folks out of Susanville that I know they're contacting me, asking me questions about that.
Yeah, so just let them know that we're not gonna be doing it.
There's a whole rumor mill going there now
Yeah.
that like, you know, if their ambulance comes and picks you up, then you're going to Quincy. And I'm like, no, that's not.
They have to go,
that's not how it
they have to go to the closest. So they can't cherry pick and go over to Plymouth District. They have to go to the closest.
And your report said there were 2 interested parties, I
Three.
think?
I heard three.
Three?
According to the NorCal website, there's 2 currently.
Okay, do you
They
know,
have the paperwork in by April 7th.
do you know who the other one was?
I'm just speculating that it's probably AMR because they are in
Oh, so that
where
doesn't
they
count.
can and they're in running. So it wouldn't be a leap, but I would prefer to have.
Yeah.
Same here.
Or whatever they're going to be. They are partnering with Air Methods, the flight side of it.
Okay.
So they're coming forward. So I think good for them. Good for them. That's another potential financial outlet for them.
Greenville and Indiana, are we considered closer?
Greenville is annexed by Plymouth District.
PDH, yeah.
They run CareFlight.
But
yeah.
Canyon Dam, I don't.
No, that's us.
We're closer.
That's in our district.
Yeah, but
So
Greenville is
Yeah.
there because they used to have their own healthcare district, but then PDH took it over.
there's that. Yep, so things are going, we've done so many tours in the last 2 days, it's ridiculous how many tours have we done. Both donors and then today West Shore Fire Department and everybody else and law enforcement and part of Penn Fire came out to look at it. They'd only seen it when the initial steel beams, steel columns were going up. They toured it today and they were all, it's really becoming real for them. So it was really exciting. We also were joined by Heather Hadwick's, staffer, Mark. He came up to deliver something and then he did the tour and then we've just been touring. And I gotta tell you, hands down, unequivocally, everybody that goes out there, cause you just see a building right now, but everybody that walks out of there is just beaming. Chelsea, you wanna add anything there? It's shocking to them.
They love it. They're,
Super excited.
yeah, it gets people excited and then they're sharing it with other people, so now I'm getting calls of, hey, when can I get in or?
Yeah.
We might need to, we might need to set a schedule. We might need to, we do have, you know, we make them book. We might need to create a couple of like community opportunities, maybe on like a Saturday. But once things are a little bit further along, just because we are getting lots of community members that are now wanting to get in there because they're hearing from their friends that they got a tour for.
Yeah.
But typically it's because they donated or they bought a beam or they were part of a group that arranged it. But anybody that wants to, you know, work.
We're open to it.
Yeah.
I think it builds the momentum and that's their tax dollars at work. They're very happy about that.
Curiosity factor, just
Right.
anyone.
Yeah.
Donors or not, just people who.
And I think it's gonna become more prevalent because what you're gonna see in the next few months out on that site. So the hardy board siding is gonna be going up, it's gonna be taking on its color schema. The windows, they're gonna be grading the roads, the heliport's gonna be graded, helicopter landing spot's gonna be graded. And then the drywall is starting to go in, the drywall to actually shape out the rooms is starting to go in like in about a week.
Wow.
So
That's exciting.
progress is super good on the site, and the more it shapes into an actual facility and looks nice, I think we're gonna start getting more and more people interested.
I think you're gonna get a lot, but I think it's a good thing.
I think it's great.
It's still a
comments
sense
today
of
was-
confidence in the community.
One of the comments during one of the tours was, I'm so happy we passed that bond.
Yeah.
I'm so happy we passed that bond, you know, because whenever you invest your money as a community here, you really hope it comes through, right? You really hope that gets delivered, and when they go out there and look at it, they're like, oh, man, this is gonna be good. So super good momentum, on that. And sharing with the board, we've been recognized by Heather Hadwick's office as outstanding coffee. Where is it?
Oh, there.
I moved it over.
Oh, good. So I'll read it to the board if you don't mind. This was delivered by Mark today. Heather Haddock was up here. She toured the facility. We talked about the collaboration we're having with all of the other rural sites. So this is from Heather Hadwick Assembly, State of California, Seneca Healthcare District, Community Impact Award. That's now stained beautifully in coffee, so let's just keep it that way.
We have a nice picture we can bring.
Yeah, can we do it? So, it says in recognition of collaborative service that brings people together for the common good. Your work fosters trust, resilience, and tangible benefits across the community. By leading with intention and care, you make a meaningful difference. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
So this was awarded to us by Assemblymember Hadwick, and I want to share with the board.
Well,
And we were gonna, like I said, we're gonna frame it.
get a new one.
I think it should be framed just the way it is, just
Good.
fresh in our mind, you know?
Yeah, remember that meeting? Spilled the entire cup of coffee. Anyway.
That's big kudos to all of our staff and.
This goes to the entire staff. Seneca's making a difference and an impact in our community. And it's been recognized by our assembly members. So
That's amazing.
good job,
We should
Seneca.
make sure our staff will know about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do an internal memo on it and then also a press.
Great.
Yeah. So, yeah, it came out of the blue. Just got delivered today. So I'm glad it's in copy. Awesome. Good job. Anything else? That's it. We've got a lot going on. It's busy. Things are very, very busy right now with TSCs. But other than that, things are just going swimmingly. Just as we expect them to. Any questions from the board?
Any questions for Sean?
Anything?
I think you're off the hook.
Good.
Thanks, Sean. All right, Judy, you're up.
Okay, so I'll just highlight a few sections of my written report. Sean already touched on the emergency services, so we're keeping a close eye on that as things move on. We have EMCC next week. So we will be getting an update on what's happening.
We probably don't get to provide any input since it's for Lassen County though, right?
Well, but what they do when you're bidding on an exclusive operating area, a lot of experience with that, is that they do polls surrounding the area. So I'm sure that is why Terrified reached out proactively to make sure that the issue is not found. We'll be very interested, especially in a service that's already in our area, if we've had any issues. So they do a lot of follow-up before they're working these contracts.
Do we-
So
So if the bids are due by April, when would that cutover actually happen? To the new provider?
I don't know for sure, but again, at EMCC next week, it is on our agenda for them to give us an update. So, and NorCal attends that meeting as well and sends that. So we'll kind of have an idea of the timeline for awarding the EOA. It's a very arduous undertaking to go through a contract.
I'm just looking at last summer.
Yeah,
No.
no kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Simpson is pulling completely out of California.
Oh.
Yes. There's something happened with their service down in Fresno. And because of that, they decided they could not maintain their services in Lassen County. And so they'll still be in Nevada, but I don't believe they will be providing any services to California once. Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's always scary when you get new ambulance services, so I hope it does go to Terrified, that's just my opinion. Sean and I actually met with the outreach coordinator from Renown yesterday and had a really great conversation, you know, continued to build our partnership with them. Because that seems to be our primary referral area at this point. They have definitely become our easy bet. And one thing that he reported is he was here a year ago, so he loved seeing the new hospital as well. it was just dirt when last time he was here. But he has invited us over, we've gone over to Renown and they gave us big tours of everything. And some of the issues that we brought up was related to our partnership. Feedback, so, Renown is the easy button, they take everything right, exactly as they should. But then when it comes to providing, outpatient services, once they come back across the California state line, we don't have anything for them. And they started conversations with partnership.
Really? Good.
Per our suggestion. And they said something about Northern Inyo was also, so
Yeah.
Seneca Healthcare and the Plumas County and Northern Inyo reached out to their leadership and said, listen, you've got to do something about this, and
Yeah.
they're listening.
Yeah, because, we're just too close to, the referrals, we're not the only one in California that's experiencing
Wow.
this issue. But they
That's
took
great.
it seriously,
Great.
so.
That's big for partnership.
Yeah.
We're just
So I
California.
don't know how quickly those wheels will turn.
Yeah.
If they'll turn at all,
Yeah,
but at least is, the discussion happening can be great for our communities. Because they don't have much.
does Nevada have like a managed Medi-Cal program?
Medicaid,
Medicaid,
Medicaid, right?
Las Vegas has a lot, but rural and northern Nevada, not so much.
that's huge,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he, gave us a list of new services that are coming up. They may be going for their level 1 trauma status because of all of the residencies they're doing. They're big. They're starting to do kidney transplants. They're becoming a major tertiary.
Where is the closest level 1 to Reno?
Davis.
UC Davis.
Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Is Davis one?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll take all the
Yeah,
heads.
there's only 2 trauma centers with that.
Is Las Vegas a level 1?
Las Vegas is a one that,
Yeah,
right now it's a level 2.
Right.
So.
They're on the march. They're doing a lot.
Yeah,
Wow,
they're doing
good
a
for
lot.
them.
It's really impressive.
Good for them.
And he's always open to, us, sending our staff over, for observations, to meet their staff. And what he's really big on is encouraging their, hospitalists, ER physicians, and specialists to go visit the critical access.
Good.
And that's big, because that's something I always try to get our doctors, Chico to do. Because when they would complain, like, why did they send us this? Like, well, go check it out, man, if you saw.
Yeah.
And you can get it,
Yeah.
so he may be bringing us some, specialty physicians to come do site visits. And there may be some interest in clinic over here, especially, he mentioned urology.
Yep.
So-
You're wrong.
Gastroenterology, they seem to have many of them, which is not like Enloe has hardly any, but.
Yeah, anyway, it was a really great discussion.
If I can bridge off of that, is he was really interested in our swing program, because we had just talked about it when we were with them. And now that we've got it in full motion, he's really interested in that. He wants us to meet with their discharge planners.
And we've been.
And you- Lori going over there to talk about what we can do, and so that's good. They wanna know about that.
And what about, training? Are they open to helping?
We don't wanna be dumped on.
Further our
Yeah.
education of our staff as well?
What we encourage you
Yeah.
to do, at least,
Yeah.
at the medical staff level, is, have their medical staff specialties, be a part of our medical staff meeting. So even if they just did it virtually, but just introduce us to some of the,
That'd be great.
invasive things they're doing over there that we
Yeah.
have to
That'd be
hear.
awesome.
Because like they've got a lot of, they're in oncology, they're the women's health, so we told
Yeah.
them about, the new doctor we hope to get in women's health. And, it just was a great conversation. So, yeah, I think they really want to be a partner. I don't want them to swallow us up.
Yeah, no,
But I think, they truly, they're making the effort to be a good partner.
the swab, the genetic testing,
Yeah.
the oral swab genetic testing they're doing for BRCA
Oh, really?
and for certain cancers now. They've got a service, and they, without saying it, almost wanted to extend that service to us to provide it as a screening tool. In part of our primary care is we can actually swab for those genetic disorders.
Yeah.
And it's just a swab,
So that may
and they'll
be
do it.
one of the first, services that they introduced to
Yeah.
our medical staff, to see that gauge what kind of interest there is in partnering with them.
That's amazing.
This is really
It's
exciting.
very exciting.
I would think that this relationship would enhance our ability to recruit also.
Yes.
I think so. I think the relationship to enhance to recruit is the question. There's so many 775 area codes at the lake already. I do think that it's something that we need to consider, that their recruitment from them, people looking for a slower pace of life. Many of their doctors have homes around here.
Or who wanna spend some time here, some time there.
Right.
Keep
So
their skills up.
that's always kind of a mindset of ours, both for the Chico area and for the Reno area is those are the people that are coming in, these people that have homes here. If they see that, that maybe they're gonna go, I can actually practice here. Wow. And then nursing, I could actually work there. Okay, cool. Once again, though, I am with you 100%, watch out, don't let the camel's nose too far into the tent. Because, they're always looking, big organizations like that are always looking for a brand new hospital that all they have to do is manage the debt
Yeah.
service. And not have to build brand new and then kind of see it as an extension.
Are they independent
Oh,
for
yeah.
now?
Today,
Good partnership here.
right now, it is. And a lot of our stuff goes that way. Go ahead. Sorry, Judy.
So much changes from the time we had to submit our reports. By the time we get here, so, the TSCs are doing really, really well. With all the departments, we're, really getting them, trying to get into their headspace about thinking about, what FTEs they think they need, so they're ready to justify those when we get to budget next month. Excuse me. But they're being very thoughtful, doing really well in that area. One thing that came up, and I've spoken about it before, is, our logistics surrounding our Pyxis units. And so again, much like lab and some other departments where it's like, okay, well, we lease this Pyxis equipment, but we can't just pick them up and move them over. And we still need medications over there, but we need the equipment anchored over here. And so Pyxis came out last month and I can't remember if I've already reported on this part of it, but, Pyxis has upgraded their actual hardware, their actual machines for the first time in 35 years.
Wow.
And so our machines are going to become obsolete within a couple of
Are there
years.
big changes that they made?
They're pretty here. They support a different, a higher level of, software than ours do. But anyway, so that brought up something, another logistical issue for us in that we are only halfway through an 8-year contract with them on the current leased equipment. And so we were pleading our case saying, you gotta cut us a break because we didn't have any other choice but to go into their 8-year contract. We did not know they would no longer be supporting their own hardware. And so they took it back to, their corporate, and it took several weeks, but, what they've come up with is that they will allow us to end our current lease about 30 months earlier than, is what is on paper. There will be a short amount of time that they will bring up our new Pyxis Pros, what it's called. The Pyxis Pro will go directly into the new hospital. So that includes the AEDs, the automated dispensing machines, as well as the medication refrigerators. Because of Anchorage needs and things like that to get signed off. And so there may be a short amount of time where we have 2 leases going. And I just received all of the paperwork from them, about 45 minutes ago, so I haven't had a chance to go through everything. So instead of, their usual 8-year contract. They're asking us, since they're allowing us to get out of our current lease early, that we do 120-month contract with them. So, again, I really need to do a deep dive into anything that they sent us. I personally don't have a problem thinking that we would lease their equipment for 10 years because it's the equipment that it's same footprint, we built our bedrooms
I'm
around.
gonna ask you that, footprint, power, everything's the same, so we don't have any changes to the design.
The only issue is we had some double towers with the old ones and we have single towers with the new ones. So Donna is working with their team on all the specs related to the anchoring equipment, et cetera. But if they haven't changed their hardware machines for 35 years, I don't think they're gonna
Yeah.
change it again in 10 years, so. But what we're dealing with right now, there will be some financial implications for us, and that's what we're really trying to get. And then again, making sure that there's no change to the footprint and our needs within those well-defined spaces at this point.
Okay, will you do me a favor, will you please reach out to BBK and ensure that there's no statutory issues with a 10-year lease? Just as a public entity, would you please just check, because I think that we're not allowed to enter into certain long-term leases. And it's, just check with them, I don't think it's,
I don't know, but that's a good comment.
let's check with them, just a quick call in there, well, say they want a 10-year, are we statutorily allowed to do that?
Okay.
As a public entity? Because then they won't have a choice, they're gonna have to work with us based on the statute.
There's not much of an alternative for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Even a competitive.
Yeah.
There is
So.
some,
That are out there that, I know we evaluated at Enel at one point, but Texas is by far a superior,
That's where our stuff we're used to,
you know.
right?
And then the other, thing
Interfaces.
around this was not only because of the logistics, but all AEDs have to be, registered with the board of pharmacy. So when we get those new machines, we will have to have the board of pharmacy on and certify them. Yes, they each have to be licensed.
That makes sense.
So
And
we
the-
have to do this. There's no way we can maintain our operations without a 24/7 pharmacist
Right.
on board, and we're not gonna do that. So this is what we're facing, but at least we figured it out now, and, so we'll be ahead of the game.
are there any interface implications to the new interfaces? Will our existing interfaces to Cerner, are they gonna be different because that costs us?
What we're facing right now, is that we are way behind on the version of the software. It's living on a very old server, and, we need to get up to the current version. By the time we go to the Pixis Pros, they have to be on the 2025 server, and we're currently at 20.
We're on 2016 right now,
Yeah.
so because we were on 2016 servers, it held back the software, so now this gives us kind of a two-step process to get to the new hospital where this summer we upgrade the servers, we bring up our current Pixis to a more modern software, that way we're prepared, ready to switch over
So,
to the machines.
I suspect that we'll have tighter interfaces with the newer software.
Yeah.
I would expect that we'd be better off,
Yeah.
okay, because it's been troublesome, right?
Yes.
So good.
Yeah, so.
We're gonna be 2020 this summer? Updated to 2020?
We're probably gonna try to upgrade all the way up to 2025, so those they're virtual servers, and they were set on 2016.
Okay.
Due to cost at the time, they decided not to upgrade at all. Now we have reason to, so might as well upgrade it to where it can be for future.
Yeah,
So-
so we'll be doing, at least one software upgrade this summer, at least to get to 1.11, but we need to get to 1.13 before those new machines will work.
Okay,
And I have a meeting with them next week where we'll be discussing more of the timeline as to differences between 1.11 and 1.13, our old ones can get on 1.13, et cetera.
Ethan, just a thought on that, so if we are statutorily allowed to enter into a 10-year lease, if there for some reason our interface costs, that we have to absorb, I would like you to tell them to absorb it. If we can do a 10-year, they need to pay for the interfaces. Because it's just, they're locking us into 10 years. They need to, I mean, it would be nice if they would pay for the interfaces, which is what, 15,000 a piece. Roughly, it's nothing to them over a 10-year period, so just. Because that's a long lease, and you're right, they are a good company, and it's gonna be for a long time, but if it's not a shorter lease and they say it's gonna be interface costs,
They don't have to get out
Out of it.
For interface.
Yeah.
reset it.
I mean, we're playing cards
But
here, but
I mean, you were there, we explained to the best of our ability,
they've
like,
never seen this
like,
before.
we're just the little guys, trying to
Yeah.
do the best we can, and this is a very unique situation. And she took that to heart and took it back to their corporate level and said, you need to understand, this is very unique, because usually they're switching hardware for hardware. This is a brand new critical access hospital in California, and so they listened to that. So
Good.
they're trying to be good partners, so I wanna tread carefully about, you know, I don't wanna play too
Powerful, yeah.
Just things to be aware of, just cards in your hand that you might.
Okay, way more than the other one, no. Okay, and the workforce development, this had changed too. I said that, you know, we had all 5 CNAs, trainees were gonna graduate next week. No, one of them dropped out this week.
Oh, God.
Right. We had 5 positions, we had 5 trainees, and now we have 5 positions and 4 trainees. I don't have any doubt that there are 4 trainees that, are accepting positions with us, will have any problem whatsoever. They're doing great, we're really proud of them. Not much on regulatory, we're just getting ready for our next campus survey in the
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah,
Oh, Arcola.
oh, I mean, not paid.
Went really well, that was on March 10th and 11th. And we basically passed with flying colors, just a couple of minor things, for the lab to work on, but nothing concerning at all, right? So that was great, and that was James. Really, yeah, they really familiarized themselves, with it's easy to do things like mission, and it's different, I'm not gonna lie. Our Seneca auxiliary wish list has been submitted. The girls have informed us that they have raised $50,000 so we only had to cut one piece of equipment that was requested in order to get to that, and so everyone should get everything else. We have, tentatively scheduled our, appreciation luncheon for Saturday, June 6th. It will be held at the Almar West Grill.
Awesome.
And then swing beds going well. We currently have 2 swing patients. One may be going home tomorrow. It's going really, really well from physical therapy and occupational therapy standpoint. We've had some minor, little logistical things that we're working through right now. And again, going back to Renown, one of our patients, was sent back to us after their inpatient at Renown. A lot of these patients stay with us for some time, a week or 2 or longer, and they have outpatient follow-up, doctor's visits in Reno. And so what we, have been working on this week is updating our list of approved drivers and be in our transport van with these patients. We had one that had to go to Susanville last week. You know, our drivers have to be CPR certified, so it can't just be anybody who's on our driver's list. And sometimes it takes 2 people, like last week, our patient had an appointment, but they were on oxygen, so we have to have a medical person just to monitor the oxygen. So just, that takes, going to Reno next week is going to take at least 1, if not 2 staff members out of service for almost an entire shift.
Now, is there any way that we could maybe investigate some of these appointments being done virtually?
Yes, and that was something, you know, we talked to Gary from Renown yesterday about kind of the, like, we're so glad you guys are making it so easy to transfer, but we talked about the logistics about, follow up, et cetera. And so he hears us like, I hope the appointments go on time.
Yeah.
For taking 2 staff members out of the hospital. But is there a better way that we could do this? So,
To be continued.
yes, to be continued.
What's the longest length of stay we've had of the swing program?
The one, well, we've had, some people have 100 days and sometimes we've used their entire 100 days. If they still need our services and we're still working on it. Now, what happened last week with one of our patients is, Lori is doing visits. And so the family transported the patient for the day to go to the home visit so she could evaluate them in their own home environment with the steps leading up to the front door, et cetera, et cetera. And so then
I
our
didn't know
staff
she was
was,
doing that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
you have to hear.
That is
Just
just
amazing. And
amazing.
so all of that is going great and she's absolutely thrilled and, very happy to be here. But we don't always have that one person on our families.
She determined to be better program than try to negotiate the steps, so he's here till Friday, till we're at the.
But it's a work in progress,
Yeah.
but I think it's going overall really, really well.
That's great.
But there's just logistical things that we're still.
Yeah.
As far as we've been doing these, appointments with our long-term residents forever, right? But one thing that is really positive on that is that we used to have to take them all for their podiatry appointments and now we just need a little.
Nice.
So we
Nice.
have all the residents on, like a revolving schedule to come see Dr.
Right.
Martinez on a regular basis, so we don't have to take all of our staff out and send them to Chico or what have you, so that's another
Yeah.
positive.
And I've heard really good things about him.
Great.
In the community.
He's so pleasant. He really is.
And that's the end of my report, thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions for Judy?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much,
Thank you.
Judy. Okay, and I think Brady probably is on.
Fergie is on.
Hello.
Oh, wow. Hi Brady.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the board and Seneca and the team for letting me go to some of these trips. I think Ethan and I had a great discovery of the HIMSS trip. So thanks, Rich, if he's on, for sponsoring that. And I'll let Ethan report on what we learned. And then Jerry and I went down to the rural healthcare, in which we will talk in the strategic session about that. But we learned some things, and some things are even, we learned that things are even more vague than we thought they were. So that was interesting. A couple of things, Shanna will report on all the recruitment activity as it is to providers and staff. We talked about Martinez's moving, continuing his service lines, continuing moving forward. And so we're getting that dialed. 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, our nurse practitioner moved. So she's physically here, and Lori's last day was, I think, the week before that. So she has started, and that will, we're starting out slow, kind of learning everything and bit developing that. Today is Thursday, and we have a new provider in the walk-in clinic, Dr. Goodall. This is his training. 2 days in walk-in and then 2 days in the ER. Then he's moving up to Reading in May. So that's kind of the highlights of that. And Shanna has more activity to report on. And I believe Linda is online. Is that correct, Linda?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here, Brady.
Okay, so can you, operationally, everything has been working except for Linda's team has been under the hospitals. or under the hospital. So do you want to explain what you've been doing under the
We've been,
hospital?
this old house, uh, nothing horrid, keeps us, everybody on our toes. But, under the hospital, under the room by the kitchen, we have a sewer pipe. I take that, I want to say sewer with a grain of salt. A pipe coming from a drain out of the facility that has, broken through. It's old and crusty, and, so we've been having to make sure there's no water buildup under that section. We've contacted a plumber, and in working around surgery, because we can't shut off the water during surgeries, scheduled surgeries, then we should have this repaired as of Tuesday next week. So he told me the entire thing under there probably should be redone. And I said, oh, stop that thought right there. I said, absolutely not. I need to get a year out of it. I said, just fix what has to be fixed, and we'll go from there. So that's the challenge we've had this week, and hopefully it'll be nothing new next week.
Great. Well, thanks, Linda, and your team. Because when I saw Jay in a bunny suit and a mask, thought he was going into surgery, but he said he's going under surgery. So that's always exciting. A couple of the other couple of the other highlights. We're finally getting staff to help the clinic volume. Clinic volume per budget still holds. I think as of February, and Steve's probably going to have these numbers, we're still about 150-ish patients above budget. And then we start getting into our busier months as we go forward. Judy, Steve, and myself, we're really starting to talk about budget next year and also labor. And, with the transition steering groups, the staffing models are starting to come up. So we're all working together on a weekly, I think it's weekly basis, and really looking at labor currently, and labor in those models when the teams are ready to present that. So with that, I'll pass off the remaining time to Ethan, and he can go what we learned. He probably understood more than I did, but I think I'm at least somewhat in tune with all the new technology coming down the pipe. So I'll pass it off to Ethan.
You'd like me to just go ahead and do my report now here?
That's fine, thank you.
All right. Go ahead. Move up here, be more conversational about it, not just talking out the back of your head. All right. So we can start with HIMSS because that's what we were discussing. So HIMSS was a great time. We got to learn a lot more about some of the burgeoning technology. More than that, we got to kind of put a finger on the pulse of healthcare and the way it's headed right now. And I kid you not when I say about 80% of the booths, of the presentations, the lectures were all centered around AI. It was the big talking point. It's the way that everyone's talking. To that point, and to facilitate more discussion, I did put a glossary of some of the good AI terms in the back of this report if we would like to discuss it further. So
80% of those booths, how many of them actually have a mature product?
very few, and we can get into that. So there's a couple different pillars that go into mature AI. The most important of which, and the first one that we're going to be handling, is governance. Governance needs to be in place. We need to have ethical, secure way to manage, report, audit with whatever AI is implemented. So the most mature models right now is with like the AI scribes and things along those lines. We are looking into potentially implementing that here. But before we talk about vendors, before we talk about programs, before we even talk about who it applies to, we first need to get the governance and policies and procedures down. So that's our current hurdle that we're overtaking. And chatting with compliancy already, it'll probably largely fall within the same group as compliancy already is, but with the addition of clinical champions to actually
bring us issues that they're facing.
And before that even, I'm assuming we know that there's a demand within our facility and within our providers for this type of thing.
Oh,
Med staff
absolutely.
has proven to be they're very curious.
From both existing providers and from providers who are potentially looking to join our team. And Brady, correct me, but I think about half of 6 months have all mentioned, hey, are you using AI scribes? It's within healthcare technology. It's one of the first ones that will not be enforced. It's actually being asked for from the users. So that's
And how does that work? Can you,
absolutely. So there's a couple different models, couple different
listens.
programs. The gist of it is that there is a client that is on a phone or on the computer with a microphone. Provider asks the patient, hey, I have this tool that helps me with my notes. Do you mind if I turn it on? It uses
Oh.
AI as long as
Sort of
the,
like drag.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah. I've seen Dragon.
And that's every time they have to say that.
and
It's been
the
disclaimed.
Microsoft AI Dragon one is one of the ones that we demoed with and are considering. There's another one called Bridge. There's a few others that are lower level. The main thing that we want to see out of whichever ones we look at is maturity and use case. Make sure that it's well regarded, doesn't have any weird factors. It's very mature.
We talk to people who are actually using it in the
Yes.
field, not just demo.
Exactly. And then also integration with Cerner. There's plenty of use cases where it's a great product, but it's a copy paste product. You know, and while that can be usable and some providers may prefer that at the end of the day, if there is direct integration with Cerner, where as it develops more, it can, pull lab histories, it can do those sorts of things to work alongside the provider for those notes, that's even better. So there's a lot of factors that go into that, obviously.
Sorry, when it comes to the governance too, for that part of it, we do have our ad hoc governance committee with the whole board now, so
Perfect.
I think that the higher level components of that flow through there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Besides that, with AI, when considering it, there's culture. If we implement an AI tool and only 10% of the desired users actually use it, that's a failed case. There's not ROI on that. It's just a fun toy. And on top of that, there are so many AIs being developed right now, specifically for healthcare, that you can, load up a random web page for healthcare and it's going to offer you something. So as we look into which ones we actually want to implement for the future, the best use case would be, okay, go into our organization, where our operations impacted, what are troubles that we find, things that we want to improve. Is there an AI that can assist with that? Great. It's very much a problem focused solution as opposed to a solution that you think's neat and you just apply it across the board.
And are you still having the regular meetings with the IT folks from the other regional facilities?
There is still the department meetings. There's a few Cerner centric meetings that still happen very regularly. As far as this goes, as
I'm wondering if this should be a topic
I,
forward there.
no, absolutely. Our next COMEI meeting, the one for this following month was skipped because of spring break. So we'll be starting again in end of April.
Okay, so I'm just thinking, economies of scale, if everyone using that Cerner is okay, all inside they want to use the same
I'll
product.
give you an example. PPH is already using the Cerner tool. They just went with the Cerner tool and it's not anywhere near what you saw.
And
That's why we held off. Because we
Yeah.
knew that the AI was gonna be advancing so quickly. They went straight with the Cerner
What
AI
about
bot.
the other facilities, though?
They've been watching and waiting. They've been doing what we've been doing,
to that
kind of
point,
waiting.
to that point, something very important that Brady and I discovered is that we went to the Epics showcase, we went to the Cerner showcase. They weren't pitching almost anything on AI. So there's gonna be a lot of draw from third party, the EHRs, especially with Oracle, how Oracle's concerned with how it's handling its 10-year plan, with how it's handling its money, with current layoffs and things like that. There's a lot of speculation on the wind that Cerner, the way that Cerner will be handled by Oracle well, this is it. We'll continue it as long as it can, and then come to past in 10 years.
Yeah, so
So-
everything I'm reading is that the big iron, Epic and Cerner, that the way that they're built, and I mean, Epic's built on 40-year-old technology. But the way that they're built is going the way that Dodo Bird,
Yeah.
that open, be more, and that's why Oracle
Mhm.
is positioned themselves with Cerner, because they're gonna go to more of an open electronic health record. The big iron are gonna die. Sorry, Brady, go ahead.
Yeah, and Jerry, we did the Inlo crew was there, and so we talked to them. They have Epic, but when it comes to the ambient listening tool, we asked, which ones did they review and go with. And Abridge is the one that their providers picked. And I'm hearing from those providers about how useful the tool is. So,
And so a lot, again, it's speculation at this point, but there was a point in technology where we switched from paperwork charts to EHRs. A lot of people are assuming within the next 7 years, it's gonna be another massive shift just like that, where it's going from EHRs to something completely different, more open. Either centralized patient databases, whatever.
Personal health record,
Exactly.
your PHR instead of your EHR. Blockchain is the basis for security. And
Even right now, one of the major shows there was talking about how barcode scanning for complete patient records, how there's a lot of Doge made some cuts, and in response to it, they are trying to centralize things more like that. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. Bottom line is that most of the technology is not there yet. So we can implement what we can.
Fascinating.
So does this, AI, ambient listening tool or whatever, does it listen to the patient, transcribe, and the physician and transcribe, and then offer like suggestions
Yes, it
of?
does.
yeah.
And with the ones that we are looking at specifically, also, we are looking for its references as to how it came up to those
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah.
It has
Peer reviewed references.
Research, yeah.
specifically, Brady, I don't know if you remember off the top of your head, what the name of the source for Bridge was, but they.
Up to date. Yeah.
Up to date,
So
what we use now.
yeah, it's specifically tied into up-to-date repositories for its responses, for its reasoning. And for every reasoning that it gives, you can trace it directly back to an article to see if you agree or not. So it's very much positioning itself as a tool and not as a shortcut.
Yeah. And Ethan and I had fun with it because we were in the middle of the convention center, and the Abridge tool, the doctor there was an ER doctor. I was a patient that just came from a gym accident and talking about my lower back and all sorts of things. And Ethan was my trainer, and we had this whole conversation, and it recorded us and just, in real time pared down all the stuff that was just the medical stuff. So it was pretty impressive.
And I tried to trick these things. I was going crazy on this thing, and it really captured the medical. I was saying the craziest stuff, and it captured the salient medical information and put it in the note. And this was 2 years ago. So see what they're doing now, right?
Yeah. So more to come. We're in a good place to set ourselves up for success with it. We are not in the place where we're gonna jump off the deep end with it. So
Good.
it's very.
Measured approach.
Exactly. It's very.
So I know, like when my grandson was at UC Davis in the ICU hospitalists were using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And even gave us some material from ChatGPT.
And here's the dangerous thing with that.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
these are ICU.
And you cannot verify the sources that you're
Correct.
using. It's not cited, it's not. And so
Yeah, I
That-
was like.
as a facility
Wow.
right now, the
I told
policy
you
we were
my
direct.
UC Davis.
The policy IT was developing that is now on hold until we update it for appropriate governance was no AI because of use cases like that. However, now that we are going to be integrating some, we have to differentiate between
Yeah,
acceptable use and unacceptable
right,
use.
right.
Well, now ChatGPT, when you use it or anything Grok or anything else, it has a disclaimer at the bottom there. This was generated by an AI agent.
Mhm.
Accuracy, now they have to disclose. Because everyone's using it, and now it's gotta be like, be careful here. We don't know the sources, so.
They got in trouble because California passed a law back in 2023 that necessitated that, and a lot of them didn't do it based on location, so more and more states are catching on, so it's.
Oh,
It's gonna be a new technology revolution.
Yeah.
Another one, it's gonna be crazy.
And again, to echo what Brady said, we wanted to appreciate Rich for the opportunity. There we are there. So now we'll go back after the top, run through everything else fairly quickly. As has been already alluded to, it has been very busy season. Both patients and the IT side reflects that.
We are averaging a little over 100 help desk tickets a month. This last month, we had 132. With 20 open SRs, that number has jumped up to 25 since last week, just because we're doing some more specific tweaking to our system. With that in mind, shout out to the help desk team. Even though we're sitting at 132 open tickets, only 5 were in the backlog from last month. So that points to the hard work they're putting into it. Besides that, security training and insights. So we've been hitting security awareness training a little bit harder in preparation for any new compliance needs that may come out from California this year, because they're hinting at potentially more vigorous compliance needs. So with that in mind, right now we are establishing baseline. If we are ever audited for it, the thing that we need to prove is that we are improving, and we did not have a recorded actual baseline. So right now we're getting a baseline. The trainings are not mandatory, and there are no consequences for failing the training. There are no real consequences for
Prizes for
failing.
completing.
We may do incentives in the future. So I wanted to get a baseline. If just these trainings were made available every month, everyone gets specific trainings, and every month we send out a few phishing attempts just to see, as we are right now, how healthy are we? And the numbers are actually, contrary to all the red you see, our numbers are actually well above the average for healthcare institutions.
So tell me about the gray. on the
Absolutely.
left graph.
So these trainings, the way that they work is they have an expiration date. The gray is trainings that have not been completed but have not yet expired. Likely, probably about a third of those will be completed. The red is expired trainings or incomplete trainings. Absolutely.
How often are you sending out reminders?
So currently it's set without reminders.
Oh.
So probably starting this summer, we will be sending out, hey, everyone, remember to do your trainings. We will see how those numbers budge. And then when we make them mandatory, we'll probably have weekly reminders to the people who have not completed them.
Yeah.
You put due dates on them? Must
It
take,
sends you the initial.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and it is through email that you receive these trainings. And we can verify that the emails have been read, even though the trainings haven't been completed. So when it comes down to when they become mandatory, we'll have a good way of auditing and enforcing. But for now, again, we are seeking a baseline to understand our improvement.
my question just was, this email contain a date, if you need to take this by?
I believe so. I would need to check on that. Otherwise, I think that they expire after the month, so.
I gotta tell you, they motivate me when I get them at cheaper steak.
I made the mistake of creating a meeting folder and a rule,
Mhm.
and I hadn't opened it for that.
Oh.
So I opened, I was like, oh, what's that folder? Oh. I had like 400 no befores in there. I'm like, oh, I'm one of those people, the red. And I have to take that away, so it actually shows up in my
You might be a
inbox.
good chunk of it.
That's actually something to note. This is no longer with no before.
All right,
We've
good,
taken
can you get rid of those?
Yeah,
That's cool.
you can get rid of those. We no longer monitor
Okay,
those.
good.
No before was changing its pricing model. It was no longer realistic for us to continue with the quality of services that they gave. So right about the same time, another vendor of ours that we trust very well, Coro, came out with their own. And so that is what we are developing our baseline off of, because it's auditing and reporting is much better.
Do their supervisors or managers know
They
who
will,
has or who hasn't yet?
they will.
You're gonna find out about all.
Again, part of this, just for my information, when we're seeing developing new trainings and stuff like that, is seeing in its just current state, how do we compare? What is our baseline level without training? The most important portion of that was for phishing. I wanted to see just where we are with our health right now. People are aware that phishing is out there, and I bark about it all the time. So just without any more notices, without any more dedicated trainings, how healthy are we? And we currently have a 6% failure rate with phishing, which is not ideal, but when you compare it to other healthcare organization baselines, it's very good, because most organizations start at around 33% failure. The goal is to get underneath 4%, based on,
That's our real goal.
real goal is 0.
Yeah.
To match with competitive enterprises is 4%. Our real goal is obviously 0. We don't want anyone falling to phishing. We are only as secure as people let us be, right?
And going back to the rural health transformation dollars, one of the components of that is technology, and they did highlight in their plan security being a component of it, so if there's anything we think that we could do to improve our security,
The first year we implemented Coro, we did get a grant for it. If this would be a good facilitating of that as we develop our Coro license a little bit further.
That might be an
We can
option.
certainly go for more grants for it, absolutely. And I put a little tip of the month in there for everyone's enjoyment. So projects, again, still in the cybersecurity play, we did get our Red Century penetration rate back. We do have an A. There's different levels of exploits that are able to be found. And the good news is we did not have any breachable exploits. I can go further into exploits that were found if desired during closed session, but overall, we have a healthy infrastructure from outside attack, which is great.
it is great. Out of curiosity,
Yes.
so if we're on the same domain as multiple other entities, does this apply to
So,
everybody?
so our domain is different from our Cerner domain. So our
Here's
Cerner
what you're
domain
talking
is,
about.
I'm just talking about, yes, our network, our website. So it doesn't,
Does that have to do, doesn't have to do with our. EHR?
doesn't have to do with EHR.
Okay.
EHR has its own regulations.
Okay.
Ambient AI Scribe, we just spoke to that. Other major projects that are coming up. We are currently investigating replacing our VoIP phone system. Long story short, the contract that we have with our current VoIP system is coming up. From an administrative standpoint, it is not fulfilling all of the needs that we desire. And it is also going up in price, as with almost everything nowadays. And we have found some solutions that would be easier to administrate and
I
cheaper to implement.
investigated Ring Central before, that is an interesting option that
And-
might be a good one.
Specifically going through Verizon, Verizon is offering a partnership with Ring Central where we go through Verizon as the service, but it's Ring Central portals, Ring Central equipment.
Interesting.
And it's significantly cheaper. We're also investigating we're having conversations with Ring Central directly to see if they can bring their own prices down to level Verizon is offering, because if they can, get access to Ring Central directly, their portals, when they come out with new technologies, we don't have a delay to get it, things like that, which would be better. Again, it falls down on price at the end. Additionally, we have been paying Evident TrueBridge basically for an entire EHR with some pieces removed, just to facilitate a database, basically. It's just historical data. We were using it for some financial needs with levying old accounts and things along those lines. That is largely all now resolved. Our contract is coming up. It is a auto-refreshing 3-year contract, and it is coming due this fall. And so we have noted to them our intention to not renew. And we have turned to another company called Heart, which will act as a archive and reporting tool for
Do we even
that
need this
historical
data
data.
anymore?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We do still reference it for past patients, like HIM still integrates with it a lot. And so there is still a need for that data. And if time comes, and I'm not sure as far as data, which is permanent retention, which is not, but if there comes a time where none of it needs to be retained anymore, then we get the data that we need from it, store it our own way, and we can let this go as well. Technically, all that data belongs to us. It does not belong to Evident. We can do with it what we wish. We just need to transfer it.
Legally, we just have to keep for 7 years, right? So-
No, it's 10-year for adults,
10
no
year?
longer for minors and any OP type records.
Any OP.
Or like OB, like,
Mammography, OB,
Oh.
yeah. Pediatrics, we have to keep it a lot longer,
10
but
years.
10 years because of Medicare and Medi-Cal for governmental.
Okay.
They.
Have we identified what records, I mean, cause
We,
just moving an entire set of data, but if only 10% of it really needs to be retained.
so, well. So working with we took an inventory of the records that are that we have stored right now, and then also our current MPI, and then determining the last visit date. And so with that, Evident has been unable to provide us the last visit date, what's available in evidence. So we're hoping to work with Hart to provide us that information. So as soon as we determine the last visit date, then we can determine which ones can be,
And it's really tricky when you build a rules-based database like this, where you can put 18 with a transition +7, or you really have to be careful that the data, the accuracy of the data in the old database, because a lot of it was manually entered, it didn't have, so the concern is that you can break the rule, and if they have to bring it, there's problems with that. You can get in trouble. So, we tend to try to manually do this as much as we can and not build rules-based engine, like a rules-based engine to do these purges. They used to do that, and places have gotten in a lot of trouble because it purged something that was not supposed to be purged because the date was wrong. And then we're out of compliance with all the retention record requirements. So it's a sticky thing. It's a really sticky thing. It's a lot of manual process, actually.
yeah.
There's also the aspect that currently how the data is housed on Evident TruBridge is meant to be an archive EHR. It is not a true reporting or data.
Right.
You can't facilitate the data however you want. It is distributed within their rule set. When we move to Hart, it'll still be read-only so that the data cannot be tampered with, it cannot be changed. However, because it is just data, we can work with them to basically create any views, any reports, any archive types that we want to better facilitate.
So right now, you're really limited in, what you're looking for, you go there and you find it.
Yes,
Is what I'm hearing. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
absolutely.
Sure.
And it's cheaper. Significant like that. SharePoint, we are currently moving forward with that. We are currently in the stage where we are building the skeleton of our SharePoint. We did some data cleanup within our organization. Building the skeleton is the hardest part. Once the skeleton's built, we know exactly what's going where and exactly who has permissions to what. Then it's just a matter of setting a date for data transfer.
And maybe setting some rules,
Yes,
so it doesn't get messy.
yep, there will
Because
need,
it can get messy if people aren't careful with it.
and to start with, people will have permissions to their own sites with their own data and no more permissions as time goes on. I've talked to Charlene, I've talked to a few others about, having more administrative rights to manage, especially folks who manage multiple departments or things along those lines, who may have need of that and managing the permissions of their people depending on what, workflow they're doing.
So will contracts and policies and all that be on SharePoint?
Yes,
Yeah.
everything that's currently in our file structure will be things that are hosted on places like MCN. Those will stay exactly where they are, but our current file structure internally will change.
Okay. And stop shopping, kind of like.
I do as well, especially because, with our current file structure, it was built at one point. Someone else came in and had a great idea, started to build it and left. Someone else came in with a great idea, started to build it and left. Apex came in with their one-stop shop that fixed a lot of issues, but it's just laid over a mess. And so this is doing away with that. And again, future-proofing it as we get ready for our new hospital.
It's like a lot of work.
It'll be amazing once it's all set up and running.
Yeah.
Some of the moving parts.
I mean, we talked about, if you really want to just get ham on it, would it goodness help, we had a naming convention.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, you could not deviate from
Yeah,
it, so the file naming convention,
Yes.
like it'll be a dot or a // and it was insane.
yeah.
And if you didn't follow that, boy, you got IT eat you.
I think it's a good idea
But
because then.
we thought about that, but we're gonna just listen, baby
Baby
steps, baby steps.
You know how to find it and where to find it.
Yeah.
That would be something to level set from the beginning. That wouldn't be a baby step. That would be like an initial step.
And,
Well,
that's
okay.
That's part of what we're exploring as well, because the conversation about standardization of file structure and stuff was definitely brought up.
Yeah.
The hard part to that is every department as of right now, runs slightly differently. There's different types of forms and contracts and everything like that that goes into it. So standardization with our current, the workflow would have to shift to accommodate a standardization of data.
And I don't know how they did it, but if you didn't save it under the convention, it wouldn't save. it turned red. I don't know what they used, but like if you didn't hit the naming convention right, you couldn't save it. When it-
I love.
I know, well, I can tell you from an operations perspective, it was a royal thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But everything was so structured, but yeah, they wouldn't even let you have file save it, so.
So we are looking forward to that. That's a long process and it's taken a lot of hours, but it's well on its way. Good news, update on board of directors, iPads, everything came in yesterday.
Yay.
We got our keyboards, we got our actual devices. We'll be adding them into the mobile device manager this coming week.
Save a tree.
And then working towards figuring out how to get you guys everything that you need for those, so that. Yeah, fast. Absolutely. And then we get into our glossary. So that's it for my report. Are there any questions from the board?
Busy.
Any
Oh,
other questions for Ethan, guys?
no, I love it. Great report.
Hey, report, yeah.
Appreciate it.
So what does this start? Shut up, sorry. Is that online?
Shannon, are you online? Can you speak?
I'm sure my voice is a little squeaky though.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, do you want us just to see if anyone has questions for Shannon?
Yeah, I looked at
You
everything.
read through your report. I
Yeah.
liked your update in the newsletter. That was nice. And we have
Thank
lots
you.
of things on our recruitment. Shannon, do you want, Brady was gonna defer to you for the recruitment, but do you want him to speak to it instead?
Well, I think the two biggest ones is the timing of our GYN and women's health physician is gonna be in May. And then the family practice physician, we're hoping to get her here by August. So those are kind of the biggest updates for physician recruitment.
That's great. That's really great.
Do we have a contract signed for the women's health?
We have can you hear me? Yeah, okay. We have an offer letter out. I got a thumbs up for her, so this week I should get a signature on it. She's already found a lease place on the west side of the lake.
West Shore, she lives up at the top.
West Shore, yeah.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
And Rich did just join.
Oh, when Rich is joined, thank you.
Rich.
Hi, Rich. Okay. All right, anything else you wanna highlight, Shannon, or any questions for Shannon, board members?
The only other thing to highlight that is pretty significant is our negotiations are complete. And so I sent off my red line proposals for them to package up to get to the union members for ratification. So hoping in a couple weeks, we will be able to have that finished and be able to present to the board next month.
I know that's been a lot of work, so thank you very much for everything you've done on those lines. I'll be happy to get those finalized.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Shanna. All right, I think Chelsea, you're up for marketing and PR.
All right. Okay, so, lots of things going on, so we have lots of different, community things that we're sharing right now. One of the things, so new providers, so we have Grace that recently started, so we have a whole marketing profile that's going out on her, we're doing all the marketing packages, the business card signage, all the different things for her. One of the things we're gonna do with Grace is she has like, a different approach to medicine and she has like, she wants the community to get to know her personality a little bit so that people have an idea of like, oh, I really like the way she thinks and things like that. We're gonna set up some, almost like a podcast style, because she's not comfortable with her face being on video. So we're gonna do just a discussion like podcast style that we do with her, and we're gonna talk about her different topics, because she has a few different topics that I think if the community realizes that she, deals with these things and that it'll kind of draw in different people to her and her own patient group. And so, but yeah, so.
This is something we would do at KSU as well.
Yes, so we're
Could
also
you
gonna
get
get
her
her,
on the radio?
she's also, we have her play, get on the radio as well, all the different things, we did do the, internal memo and we did the external PR for her. So we got really good feedback about that.
I've gotten good feedback on it too.
Right, and so far people are like, she's
They're
been very
excited,
long, but
yeah.
yes, and the few people that have interacted with her, like her, and people that were Lori's patients seem to like her as well, so she was a good fit for taking over Lori, so far we've gotten good feedback, which is nice. Yeah, we do still have some of Lori's patients that somehow missed the memo. But we did the patient letters, we did the emails to patients, we did all the things. I have gotten a few complaints in the last 2 weeks about them missing that communication, yeah, so, and that's,
We did the best we can.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I saw it every.
right, and there's not much more that we did, but we literally mailed every patient a letter,
Yeah.
so, yeah. And then we also do it through their patient portals and we send it out, so we send it in multiple formats. But yeah, so if you guys get any feedback, we're just saying, I'm very sorry, but Grace is here, and so then we're referring them to Grace, and they don't have to go to Grace as a provider, so that is one of the questions we get. They can choose another provider if they would like. So yeah. So still, working through, so we've got some more stuff that'll be coming out about swing bed program and things like that. So we've showed this really fun video that we're just wrapping up, and it was, Katie and Casey's idea, and it's this, little video. They found one and we had to recreate our own, but basically it's kind of just really simplifies what swing bed is. And it's like all in these little fun graphics, and so that'll be going out soon, and that, just to highlight swing bed, highlight the benefits of it, and we're still pushing out information to help our community get used to the idea we have swing beds, so your family can come and rehabilitate closer to home, because people don't even know.
Right. Well,
It is gonna take
the word
some time.
swing and they're like, what is
What is
that?
And they don't understand what it is, yes, so the little video is actually, it's turning out really cute, and it's less than 30 seconds, and it's just this really easy, this is what swing bed
I love
is.
it.
So that'll be a lot of fun. We're continuing the new hospital build updates, we have like 300 people that subscribe to them weekly right now, so that's going up. They also get posted on the website, things like that, but we do, a written new hospital build update, and then we also do Sean's, the videos that we're doing about every 2 weeks right now.
People love those videos, by the way.
They do.
Doing
As we start to see more fast-paced stuff, and it picks up over the next couple of months, we'll go back to weekly. People have mentioned that they want them weekly. They take a minute to edit and to put together, so it is a process, but yeah, we'll do that. So wellness screenings, so all the information is already out for wellness screenings. We're starting to push even more information out about that. And then we're also,
Are we still looking at doing a health fair?
so yes, we are looking at a health fair. The health fair, so the Lake Elsinore Cancer Group they call it the Lake Elsinore Cancer Fund is their official name. They would like to partner with us in the fall to do like a health fair, so that they want to invite, so they want us and them to be the 4 partners for it, and then invite anybody and everybody that does anything related to health, so even inviting the gym to come and talk to people about how fitness, plays into your health. They wanna invite, people that do the essential oils and anything like that. But us as a community health provider, they want us to be partners in this. So we're working with them on how that could look. And potentially this fall, we would offer basically this, so it's not services, it's informational. So it would be a come here to, whether it's at the rec hall or wherever it ends up being. And it would be come here and learn about all the different health services in our area, so that we would take a major part in that, and we would have information about, okay, we have primary care, we have a hospital, we have podiatry, we have swing beds, so we would take a large part and introduce people to all those different things, but there would also be all of the, other supportive services out there, so it would be open to anybody that services the Lake Elsinore.
Dental and
We would invite dental, everybody like that, and even some of the holistic,
Yeah.
approaches
In order
wanted to be there.
In
So-
order to capture that, I would suggest maybe we have, the chamber put something in
Right.
the newsletter to let everyone.
And that's the plan, so we have another upcoming meeting with the Alnor Cancer Group. And so we'll work through the logistics of that. What I had asked is if the chamber would kind of be the organization that like puts it on, but then we can still take part as a major sponsor, only because there's like medicinal marijuana group that wants to be part of it.
Oh, I see.
There's some groups that we, you know, if we're the head, like the head group putting it on, then
I don't wanna say yes or no.
Right, I don't wanna say yes or no to people, so, but I have no problem with us being a sponsor,
Participating.
yes, and participating, so. So we're working through how that can play out, and we can still be part of it without,
Yeah.
yeah.
That does make it a little bit challenging.
Right. So yes, so that is still in the works, and if we can get something going by this fall with them, we'll get something going for the fall.
And then we'll make it an annual thing,
And then it
right?
would be an annual thing, if not, it would happen the next year, because these things do take quite a bit of planning and
Mhm.
work to coordinate it all. So, but it is something that is a high priority for them, and because they really want to share information on, all the cancer screenings and the importance of that. So that's different from the wellness screenings. That will be more of a health fair.
Chelsea, I was wondering if, that saliva testing screening for
Well, I was
cancers
wondering the same thing.
might be something that Renown might want to come over to do the wellness thing and, cause
Yes.
they can screen for BRCA and all kinds of other stuff.
So on the list to invite for that health fair is Renown and INLO, as well as some of these larger organizations that do a lot of support for our area already, because like the cancer center, like they probably want to promote that. So any of those will be invited to that as well.
Great.
And it's, again, it's gonna be informational. It's not gonna be we're drawing your blood and we're doing this. It's gonna be, but if there's somebody that has the capability to put together a service like that, yeah, it's not gonna be said no to.
Yeah, as far as including it in the wellness screening, I think it's too late for this year.
Yeah, I'm just saying
Yeah,
that
possibly
maybe
for next
awareness,
Right,
and there's also the Cologa came out with their new
right.
35 cancer screenings. So it's a blood test. It's not covered right now by insurance, but there's a new blood test that can detect with pretty great
Yeah.
efficacy up to 75 different kinds of cancers. And the efficacy on it was amazing. For 36 cancers, the efficacy was like 98%. And it's just a blood test. Insurances aren't paying for it yet, though.
List of all those different things, because I think where we're gonna also help the Lake Elmer Cancer Group is we're gonna help recommend the places we know that might wanna attend these and help invite some of these people to attend us as well. So, other campaigns, podiatry services, so we're pushing that out. We're getting more and more people that are excited about that. PRs that were released, so golf tournament PR, we had the welcome, the Lori and the swing services, so that was released. The patient notices for Lawrence Fuller were released for the transition. The measles informational release, so that was put out just because we're trying to re-educate people and keep people healthy. Grace's was released, it's just when I wrote this report, it wasn't released, so. And then another swing bed feature is scheduled and, a new build timeline and education update, so, we'll be releasing this month is, information about the new build, and the big question right now is our date, when we get the keys, so like the date has changed so much from the original, so we're gonna do a little educational piece for the community and just kind of say, here's where we're at, but what we are gonna go off of is our actual contractual date. Because we would rather go back to the community later and say, hey, we done early versus, oh no, we didn't. So we are gonna go after our contractual date and, provide staff with fresh, new talking points. And then also give the community the update on here's where we are, here's our contractual date for completion, and what does that mean? Because people look at me and they're like, what's it mean for your contractual date? And then we're gonna explain that the staff and stock and all of that.
When they turn over the keys.
Right, so we're gonna do an educational piece for the community because it is a hot topic right now, especially as people see what's going on. They're like, oh my goodness,
It's coming.
Yes,
Well,
so,
it's gonna ramp up. The second it becomes more of a campus, when the siding goes on, the
Yep.
roads are in, and
The light,
then it's really gonna be like, okay, it's done. It
Yeah.
looks done. Well, no,
lots of
it's not.
questions. Just so you guys know, the sheriff's station, Plymouth County did release information on the break-in. So we found,
I love the comments.
right.
yes,
That's
so we were told, we were asked not to release any information on it. And they did it, so, we are not releasing information and we are just directing people to the county for information, because we were asked to not say anything or release information, so that it doesn't.
It's crazy
mess
how
with
many,
their-
how many comments there were like, you need hospital security. You know, a lot of that. Why don't you have security?
Right, so when people ask, we do say that yes, the job site was fenced, there are cameras,
Camera.
it was locked. And that yes, the contractors have taken additional steps to prevent
Right.
something like this happening in the future. So that is what we say to people. We just don't go into a lot of detail because the sheriff's station actually asked us not to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good.
FYI.
Great.
Okay, other than that, we got a lot, website updates, which is pretty typical. We did sponsored events, so we had, managers help go room to children, so Kaylee, she's in finance, she is our controller. She, read to one of the classes and so did Jay, our maintenance manager, and they loved him, and then Brandy and I read to the classes as well. But so we volunteer with that every year. We are sponsoring first aid kits again for Little League.
Do we sponsor first aid kits for the Westwood Little League too?
We do. We give Westwood Little League first aid kits. We give them to Westwood and Chester, and then we also do first aid kits for ARPD and all of their events. We also do little first aid kits for the classrooms in the schools. And so we do, and they're little Seneca branded first aid kits, but we do that for any of the nonprofit organizations that ask for them. They're not, for us, they're not super expensive, and it's a good community outreach. We also will get them to the wellness center too.
Thank you.
And it's little Band-Aids and Neosporin, it's just a basic little first aid kit. So, yeah, other than that, okay, we talked about wellness screening. Golf tournament, lots of stuff going on there, lots of PR going out around it. Tickets get released next week. We've also been working with Tracy Haynes, so she is starting an educational effort for GLP-1 patients. So we've helped her with the flyer for that, and so hers is, it's just educational, and it's so that people that are on GLP-1s or considering it can learn a little more information, and she can talk to them about the importance of diet with it.
So these will be available for the individual providers to give to their patients?
Yes, so the flyers are available for individual providers. Tracy Haynes is actually doing where she's come here to the conference room and learn about it more. And then, we are gonna continue to work with her and, our providers on any of new updates or any more that comes out, because I know there's a lot of discussion right now with the providers around the programming behind that and how they wanna do that. But in the meantime, Tracy's doing, it's essentially like an educational support group. And that way, if there's patients that don't understand what it is or need that educational support, that she can have that.
I love that.
And then it kind of relates back to the dietitian.
Yeah, no, it's really important piece of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, other than that, by beam, I have 8 beams left.
Mhm.
So if you know anyone,
8 left.
8 beams left.
Start auctioning them.
I know, I got 8 left, but I have about a month before they get covered, so if you guys know anyone. So we did do some, live radio spots. We have, our podiatrist is gonna be going on again. Sean is going to be going on in the beginning of May is his next spot. I've gotta look at that date. And, we continue to keep doing those for general updates. We got a lot of good feedback about that. And then we've been helping out with employee appreciation, provider recruitment. continued, just new build projects, so from signage to helping with, the sport services building and artwork strategies, so we are working through that. That is a very big question with the community right now, so you guys might get this question, Judy and I are getting it, Brandy's getting it. Everybody wants to donate artwork. We can't take artwork from everybody, there are regulations around. We need everything to be sanitizable, wipeable, so we're working on a standard right now of, we're going to be, whether it's metal or acrylic, something that, you know, can be cleaned and it has to be affixed to the wall in a certain way. And then we are going to then try and put out two local, like, we do wanna do local landscapes, we wanna do local, you know, photos and things like that. But we can't take everyone's artwork. We've had, you know, like somebody tried to donate a tapestry. That's amazing, it's very sweet, but we can't. So, yeah, there's a lot of, with HCI, there's a lot of regulations and.
Yeah,
we wanna
and
make
when
sure
we're looking at
everything's
the
beautiful.
metal versus the acrylic tends to be a lot heavier. At least the acrylic pieces that I,
Yeah, so it
so
just depends, yeah, it depends on the acrylic, so some of those acrylics, so if you're doing, so if you're doing the thick double layered acrylic where they actually print the artwork in between the two layers of
yeah,
acrylic,
that can be really heavy.
it gets pretty heavy. But some of the acrylic are lighter than the metal, it just depends. So, and if you guys actually wanna see, cause we have some acrylic in Lori Kohler's office that are hanging on the wall, and then we have metal in the hallway, so you guys can see the difference.
Are these metal?
These are metal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So as you do this and you're gonna somehow, yeah, art jury, decide what goes in, what was that, have you considered it rotating?
so we talked about that, the problem is with rotating is it takes someone to manage that, and so for example, the clinic used to have rotating artwork in here. I have about 22 pieces in my office right now that I'm trying to track down owners of. And some of them aren't even around anymore, because the pieces, as staff changes or people come in and out, there's no longer that person that's overseeing how
You
those
put
are
it up for sale and make a profit on it.
Right, well, I don't wanna sell anyone's artwork because they were intended to rotate through. So right now I'm trying to, you know, find those people and say, hey, you know, we have your artwork that came down a few years ago, but do you want it back? So that's the issue with rotating. We have talked about maybe there's an area in skilled nursing that we can create a community wall and we can put up different pieces here or there. But, that I think was geared a little more towards if you know, the kindergarten class all draws, you know, hearts for Valentine's Day or things like that. So we're still working through logistics of that, but we're not opposed to anything. We're just trying to make sure whatever we do is compliant and sustainable.
Hey, Jerry.
Yes, sorry, I didn't see you raise your hand.
Sorry. Do you mind if I jump off?
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it, Brady.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, other than that, we've got, so partnership QIP surveys, so we sent out QIP surveys, so with partnership, we had to do 2 last year. I'm gonna work with Candace to see if those are absolutely required for this next year. It was a lot of work to get, we had to get 200 surveys back from patients. It was a lot of work to get, so you do that twice in the year, once the beginning of the year, so by July, and then again by January 30th. It was a lot, and I got a lot of patients that complained because you have to send out the same survey essentially 6 months later. And you have to show improvements. So, I'm gonna see if we can find an easier route, or if we can maybe just make it 1 question instead of, because they give you this 10-question survey. So we'll see what we can do there, and if it's actually required, because if maybe it's something we can do every other year, or I don't know what the actual requirements are, but I do know that it was pulling teeth to get people to complete that survey, that same survey 6 months later after they've already filled it out.
And people are surveyed to death.
Yeah.
They're just surveyed.
Right, so, and
I may start surveying, click, and if it doesn't tell me how how hard it is to like finish it, I
Right.
might just
You
close
can
it.
just close it, yes, because you don't want to keep going.
What is the requirement for this?
So this is, partnership for their quality improvement program, and so what it does is they give you like, here's these topics, and you have to do a survey at the beginning of the year. And it's due, we have to submit, I wanna say it's June 30th is the first submittal. So you do a survey and then you identify an area that you are going to work with your staff and with the community on improving the survey. So for ours, this first year, we worked on one of their questions was, is like, does your general patient know of all the ways to make an appointment? So many people marked, like, so our question was, do you know there's more than one way to schedule an appointment? Many people marked no. So then that's where we did educational, we did these postcards that said, you can call, you can email, you can, you can walk in, so all the ways. And so then our next survey, instead of 42% saying yes, they knew there was more than one way, 89% said yes, they knew there was more than one way to make an appointment. So, but you have to actually show improvement with the survey to get the points for this.
There's money tied to it.
Yeah.
So I think there is, so that's what I think we have to determine is, what's tied to it exactly. So, because I did get, it was pulling teeth to get people to fill out the same survey 6 months later.
Now, have we mentioned that to partnership and ask them, because we can't be the only ones that have our patients unhappy about that.
Right, so, I will, next partnership meeting, I will talk to partnership and see, kind of what we can do about that.
Can we ask maybe one question that's the same, but maybe add some additional questions?
Right.
You
Like
know,
maybe just do one question the same, yes, and I would even like, even if we could cut it down
shorten it,
to.
yeah.
Well, is 200 a percentage?
Three questions.
You have to-
Three questions.
You have to get, no, you have to get at least 200 participants. So here's the thing is, they have a different survey for most of their organizations because they're larger. And so even for us, ours is outside of their normal scope.
Mhm.
Because, so we have this, this rural survey that we get to do that's different. So normally they put out their own survey for larger organizations.
Mhm.
And it's but ours, we do a little different, but we have to get 200 responses or it doesn't even qualify.
How many members do we have?
Patients.
Partnership.
So, it just depends on it well,
So I was wondering what percentage it was.
yeah, so,
Based
and
on your membership.
the percentage that they wanna see is they wanna see potentially how many patients had access to the survey.
Mhm.
And out of how many patients had access, how many completed it. So what we do is we have to put the survey out in multiple formats. So we put it out via the patient portal. And then we give them this number of, so there was, let's say if there was 800 patients that had access to the survey through the portal, and this many completed it, and then we also put it out in person for a month in the clinic, or for example, this last time we did 2 months, because we were trying to make the requirement, and then we have to give them the percentage of total patients that visited the clinic versus the amount that completed the survey. So I wanna say, we were at 5% for one and like 10% for,
Yeah.
other numbers.
It just seems like 200 is a lot for 1,600 members.
It is, it's a lot for us.
Yes. Is there any
So-
way we could ask them if they could reduce that to,
Reduce it,
yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of
The
work.
survey get entered into a
Well,
drawing.
that's
for
what I was
$25.
thinking about. I wanted to see if we could do something like that.
Yeah.
because that also might help is it complete the survey and we'll enter you into a drawing. And we'll give you,
Yeah.
a holiday gift card or whatever it
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah.
because other
Gas card.
organizations, yes, so. I talked to a couple other organizations and they do something similar to that. They do incentives for completing the survey, and you get entered in for this, but it's not, you can't get a gift card to
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Because our membership was a lot more.
Right,
I mean, almost 100,000, but, and we didn't have to get 200, I'll
right,
tell you that.
right. Well, and it's a lot of surveys twice a year too.
Yeah.
So that's the
It
thing.
seems like a
that-
lot of work.
yeah. So,
Shelley, a question, you said there's money tied to this.
There is QIP
In-
monies.
in by way of, an incentive or a
Quality.
penalty?
Quality metrics, they're looking.
Well, it's an incentive now,
Yeah, the quality services
carrot first.
that we provide, they wanna make sure that their members are being taken care of. Right, and so we had to show that we were providing, where I used to work, we were providing quality
And if you
services.
meet that goal,
Mhm.
you're.
Right. That's one of several
Incentive
metrics.
For you?
Well, and I don't know what, what was on the back end of that. My part was to help with the survey and then create the program, the plan of action to,
Mhm.
and then you have to justify with partnership. So I had to submit an entire plan with partnership of here's our plan of action, here's how we're gonna educate our staff, here's how we're gonna educate patients. And then you have to show, that you did
It sounds very cumbersome. My
Yeah.
question was just really,
How much is the return on it?
well, yeah, if you get a financial reward for doing a good job, where you penalize for doing a bad job.
Right, so,
Stand in the good favor of
Well, I was
partnership.
gonna say, the other
Yeah.
part is they're a really good
Right.
partner for us, so.
right,
And if we are improving things for our patients.
right.
then
Well, I'll go back to them and
Yeah.
I'll ask if there's any room on the 200 is a lot for us, for our patient base. Yeah, we can go from there. So other than that, we did submit 3 appropriation requests to Kevin Kiley's office.
What was the third one?
So we did, one for the helicopter landing site,
Oh, that's the other one.
one for the MRI, and one for Mila. So,
Good job.
in that order.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was the order that we did. So we'll see, the MRI though, we did rework it to where we are heading this up.
Because
and
it's our contract.
It's our contract.
We're looking for
and-
the entire amount.
Yeah, because last year we got denied because it overlapped.
The multiple
Um,
jurisdictions. They didn't know how to deal with that.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay.
Good job.
Awesome.
Nice work.
Thank
She's
you.
not done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very busy.
It's on the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so foundation cruising right along, so we are consumed with golf tournament and impact report right now, so we've got both of those that we're working on. And also support services building, so the foundation is with the donor, is helping with the support services building, and right now we are at the coordination point where we are coordinating Sean and Linda and myself and the contractor, and we're coordinating this person's coming here, they need to get in this day, so we are working through the logistics of that, and then we are, working on trying to just get everyone scheduled out and trying to get these subcontractors that are donating time and resources in at an appropriate time, because they can do it, when they can do it, they can do it versus they can't do it in July because of, so big project. And then golf tournament, going well, and we're continuing to work on sponsorships for that. And we are opening tickets to the public on Monday. So we have a long line of people that are asking for tickets. And so, yeah, it's a good day. Other than that, working with Steve on trying to get, someone who can help us with our tax stuff and potential audits if we need it, so, we'll see what comes through from that, and the foundation is, we're just plugging along, and the impact report that we're working on, we'll kind of talk about, ways that we're starting to give back with the support services building, things like that, and all the different things that we've done, all the different campaigns. The other thing, just so you guys are aware of, when the Almanar Foundation did fundraising for us, when they first started, there were some bricks that were promised to donors in their fundraising efforts. So we are looking into that with the foundation side of things, and we are making sure that we're figuring out how to accommodate that and how to make sure that, we do something for those donors that had a brick promised. So we don't have, that fully worked out yet, but we are looking into that, and we'll keep that, going so that we don't miss anything. So, and any questions about the foundation?
We know approximately how many bricks?
Up to maybe 78, so up to 78. What they didn't have on there, so the software they were using when they first opened didn't have exactly who bought a brick. It just had that there were this many donors during that time frame that donated over the brick value. But Tracy Smith, who's one of our foundation board members, has agreed to call each one of those donors and talk to them and confirm if they were promised a brick or not through the Elmer Foundation. But it was all at that, Baby Back the Build event, that, the rib cook-off event, that was where they sold all those bricks. So,
And they don't have a list of,
they have a little list, but it's, all they logged was that they were a donor at that event. What I don't have
the
is,
amount they've done.
no, I have them now,
Okay.
but what I don't know is like, for example, if the bricks were 500, and that's what I'm trying to confirm with them is, they're looking for their paperwork, if it was 500 or 1,000 donation to buy a brick.
We
What
should
I,
be able to find the marketing materials.
so that's what I was looking for,
Yeah.
so, but, so what I don't have is it just has the value, the total value that they donated. But some people.
Not per event.
Right, like some people, it says they donated this much and they donated at the Baby Back the Build event or whatever it was. But that doesn't necessarily mean they bought a brick.
Yeah.
Because certain people bought bricks, not everybody bought a brick. So that's where we're trying to figure that out. And then figure out how to work with that. So, yeah, just, you guys know, it's, we haven't forgotten about it, you're just working through a solution for it. So, thank you. Yeah,
Anything else you want to highlight?
I think that's good, unless you guys have questions.
Questions for Chelsea? Thank you,
Yeah,
Chelsea.
good work, thank you.
Thank you. Anything?
Just a couple of things. First one is that we have Iron Mountain come up and evaluate from the medical records office or chart room to determine, or to take a look at it, what the volume of work and, give us an estimate at a proposal to let us know how much it'll cost for them to scan that information in. And so the cost is high. It's like over 800,000. So anyhow,
All of that needs to be scanned?
as far as, so, no, not all of it, majority of it was scanned, but not all of it. So, we have been doing record construction every other year. We evaluate for, files to be removed. The issue is that those records were hybrid until I got here. When I got here and Sean and I worked on it, and then we just said, okay, we drew a line and said everything must be done with the EHR, but that was in 2021.
Yeah.
And so, so that was the issue that we have. So we can't, so the plan is not to move forward with Iron Mountain, but, when I was discussing it with Steve, Shanna came up with a great idea, so, which is, I don't know. I can say is probably putting it in, in the storage area that we're no longer using.
Yeah.
Once the hospital's built.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah, and so.
We could get our train car back.
No, that would be going backwards.
We cannot.
No.
I think the board just said no.
So, but there is a, location, once everyone's over there, yeah, we can look at that. Bringing it over there, and we're hoping that, now that we're gathering the data and have done a lot of work, we can really determine, what needs to be pulled here rather.
So what's the retention, longest retention on what we had over there?
So Okay, so there are charts in there that are still active. So for example, there's a significant amount of charts from where it just, when she touched the patient, the chart has gone down and she believes that they still request it. So it's 10 years from the last visit for adults. That is a retention requirement.
If we're seeing the patient regularly now, shouldn't we be taking those as they come in and scanning them?
We don't hold them for every patient. I mean, it's only occasionally where we'll ask for those charts. But as far as retention requirements, regardless of whether or not, so if you were born here at this, and were given care and never really moved out. So if you're still being seen here, let's say you're 50 years old and you're still being seen here, you have to keep all of those records from,
The date of last visit.
yeah, we go based on date of last visit. So we still have to keep all the records from when you were born all the way to the last time so we move everything forward.
Wow,
Yeah, I was thinking that
that's a lot of files, a lot of records.
Well, and it could have, and that would have been a smaller number, because we don't have a lot of people that have just been here consecutively for a long time. It'd be a lot smaller number. The issue, and this was when I first got here, is my biggest concern when I was talking to Charlene, was that even though we had an electronic health record for years, we allowed our providers to not use it. The cost associated with that is extravagant. It's amazing, because we allow them to do one paper chart. You're now locked into that paper chart for 10 years.
you can't scan that paper chart in.
Well, but you don't even know. You don't even know which ones they are. They weren't marked as a hybrid chart. So you'd have to go through every one of those charts to find out which ones. And that's the long-term cost that I complained about when I first got here, is like, why do we allow our physicians, when we have an electronic health record, to work in paper? Because no one was willing to say,
That's where we can get our rural transformation dollars for.
was that? What's that?
That's where we get our rural health transformation dollars.
Oh, that'd be such a waste.
No, it wouldn't.
No, just get a car, just get a train car. So much cheaper. Yeah.
So with that, I mean, there's
There's a lot
going to be
here.
a building that's going to be empty, so.
Yeah, but it's not gonna become a trash repository, so.
I don't know.
Sorry, it is.
Actually, these guys will come in, they'll inventory everything, they'll be put in boxes, we'll have a master list, whether it's working, and it won't be just taking, busted banker boxes and stacking them, and they start leaning and stuff like
But you know, that's
that.
what I was imagining.
Seen it, but no, if there would be it'd be like what they're gonna do electronically from what Charlene has shared. They're just gonna do it the paper will still exist, but it's the same idea. There's a filing system, there's access to it. There is value there.
It almost becomes static, because the relevancy of these charts now, the relevancy, and the Dr. Ware is retiring. None of these people will be seen by the physician, but the relevancy, they start with a new doctor, they may want to take a look back, but it'd be very rare. So if it's filed right, and then you have the ability to cherry pick a particular one on demand, wonderful, get them out of here, right? So that's the way to do it.
If we cherry pick one though, like, cause somebody goes to references.
You scan it in.
Then we scan it and we don't put it
Yeah,
back.
because there's gonna be such a rare number instead of just doing it all.
Well, it sounds to me like right now it's not getting scanned in.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, because right now it's, with where. It's. I think we've only had one requested when since she's been
Yeah.
in the walking clinic, but for most of the time, the reason we go in there are for subpoenas.
Or what?
Subpoenas.
Yeah.
So for legal requests, usually work comp, and disability, They're trying to figure out whether or not this person qualifies for disability and they need all of those past records.
And again, Matt, that nice thing is that generally they're gonna be the most recent, the work comp will be a most recent injury, which we have electronically. They may rarely go back to see if there was a prior, but it's getting less and less and less, so that's why this methodology might be something we wanna look
What
at.
about vaccine status? For
That's
people,
online.
It's online,
and it has been like,
you
you
have to
know,
report it, yeah, there's a report.
Yeah, it's been,
Okay.
yeah, you can easily download that from yours.
someone had the measles
Whatever,
vaccine
I forgot.
20 years ago.
One of them, yeah, well, I'm not, well, have 10 years is our retention period. So if they haven't been here for greater than 10 years, you know, then it
Right,
costs unless it, you know, unless that individual is still young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25.
Because people, a lot of people, well, in the news now about measles, you know, they can't remember if they've had, you know, the measles vaccines. And here they are adults.
Well, as prior to a certain point, they weren't getting them either, the
Well,
certain age groups.
Yeah.
well, I mean, they were given the MMRs,
Mhm.
you know, are caught in the sixties. You know, but whether or not they completed them is a question.
I can't believe we're talking about this again.
I know. I
just
know.
Can't believe
Isn't
it.
it terrible? I think it's bad.
So the second item is that, I've been working on the, compliance education. I will be bringing it to the committee, next, in a couple of weeks to review. We have compliance education in our existing, one that Linda sends out. However, it's not detailed enough according to regulations, of what needs to be within that compliance education.
So we're providing a new tool for it?
It's in addition to what they, have to do right now. So right now, I don't know how many pages it is. I haven't gone in there. It encompasses, you know, clinical, environmental. It's a huge variety of education, but as far as something specific to compliance, like talking about, you know, START and the kickback, those different laws, beneficiary remuneration. I forgot the one word, but anyways, False Claims Act, those kinds of things, it is not going to detail in our existing education, and so I have to, or the compliance committee will be going through and evaluating what needs to be in there and what doesn't need to be in there, because there's things like we could add on EMTALA, but she already has EMTALA on there, you know, and so.
So do our staff have to take all of this education, the compliance education at one time, at one sitting? Can they pause it? Is it different modules? How it is?
I'm in the process of creating it, so right now it's live.
Existing is a slide?
Well, right now it's a packet that they're going through, that's incorporated into what Linda's doing. But what I'm doing is would either be a slide or we could create a video, whatever, as far as the compliance team can come up with, that would be.
Okay, so it'll be separate.
It'll be separate, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be separate, because it has to be more detailed.
Well, each department can have a different education topics applicable to what they do.
For compliance with fraud, waste and abuse, and so there's basically standard things that we have to address.
Okay, across the line, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlene. Any questions for Charlene? Thank you. All right, Steve, I think you're up for the February 2026.
And, our controller, Kaylee, he is listening in, and so Kaylee, I don't know if you heard it, but, Chelsea recognized your volunteer efforts with, reading to the kids, so thank you for that. And, if you need to bring in Brett Wiggins' check, sorry, multitasking here. Just come on in and I'll sign it. Go ahead and put 2 days on it, please. Okay, Steve. Alright, so we're looking at February. This is gonna, I'm really gonna blow through this, honestly. Because there was not much here that, February was really a continuation of what was seen December, January. And now February, where our revenue was low budget on the inpatient side, inpatient swing. Outpatient was slightly positive budget. This month, we actually had a net negative on total patient revenue, the budget. And then it flowed down. We got a little bit of an offset from the adjustments being positive to budget since the revenue was lower. And we had net patient revenue negative 91,000 budget. Expenses were pretty much in line. There were a couple of outliers there, as the note in the packet. The professional fees other was over budget by 56,000. That was our payment to the group to help us with the rate range to maximize the amount of supplemental payment we received there. They were able to do that, and we paid them $51,000 for that. We're engaging them again for this year. Unfortunately, I think they're gonna do really well just to keep us at our funding level for a couple of reasons. So we also, the purchase service was a little high. We did some catch up on some coding invoices. The outsourced coding we use for the clinic. And as we've discussed before, I have contract staff in my department while our payroll individuals on a leave of absence. So the expenses were over budget, 98,000. So income from operations under budget, 194,000. We still have the interest income coming in from the project accounts that offset that a little bit. We did get our first installment of the fiscal 25-26 taxes. They are slightly below our budget. That's always just a guesstimate. So, and then the bottom line is we have net income negative to budget, $165,000. I think the one thing I want to point out, don't move anywhere, Ethan, is that in the month of February, we did collect our rate range, our final rate range payment. We had the interim payment from partnership back in December, then Kaiser made their payment in January, and then partnership paid the balance of supplemental payment here in February, which has led us to get our cash reserves back up. And as of February, end of February, we're now at 115 days, just over 115 days cash on hand. So that's all moving along. If there's no questions about February.
Steve, I have one, I'm sorry I missed the treasurer's meeting. I was curious about the inpatient ancillary, the variance there seems high to me, but I could be.
The ancillary variance?
Yeah.
Well, it's direct correlation between the negative variance in both the census for acute swing bed. That's what the ancillary, there's no ancillary revenue associated with long-term care. And that can vary, Jerry.
It just seems high compared to the overall year-to-date variance, you know, when looking at the different items compared to each other, I guess.
So look at that. You might got one there. You might have one there. Let me just, I don't want to take time digging into it now, but I will.
That's fine.
I will look into that.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know what that formula. And I'm gonna think about that the whole meeting.
Sorry.
No, not at all, so yes. Yeah, that makes no sense. Okay. I'll respond with an email to the board with a follow-up on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so other than that, I'd like to move on to, the cash flow report.
Do you want us to
Yeah.
accept the February financial report?
Right.
All right, I will accept a motion to accept the February 2026 financial report.
Sure.
Thank you. You made the motion. Second?
I second.
Thank you. All in
Sorry.
favor? Rich?
Aye.
Ken?
Right.
Shelley?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Okay, so now we can move into the cash flow report.
So biggest thing, board, about this cash flow report, and this is going to be, this will be the presentation going forward, is that normally I just show you the fiscal year. And so now with all that's gonna be going on in the next year and a half here, we need to look out beyond this period of time. Shelley, I'm trying to think, you're at the USDA. Okay, so, but the biggest part of this is that, you know, we talk about everything that's been presented, all the exciting things, the new providers, the specialties coming in, and all of that. And we have to, we're gonna be budgeting so much differently than we have historically. One of two reasons. One is we're starting to see a growth, potential growth in our service offerings and our revenue generation, but there is gonna be some cost associated with it. And so we just have to be mindful that although we're at 115 days now, and Ethan, can you go to the second page? And right now, you know, way out there, we're looking at June of 27, yay. Under this current model, we're at 167 days, but this model is based upon that over there for another 12 months, so.
And we're gonna have some overlap in staffing, I would imagine, like when we did our EHR conversion, right?
Yeah, there's just so many things going on. That's a big part of it, is that as we ramp up into the new facility, that we're going to have additional people there, and there's going to maybe be somewhat of a lag. It's kind of like when we went to Cerner.
Right.
You know, we staffed up to get the system going, and then the system gets up and running, and there's going to be potentially some delays, not that we're not gonna be able to offer services, but are we gonna be able to capture all the revenue and build and collect and those types of things. But absolutely, we're gonna have overlap, we're gonna be adding additional people. That was certainly part of the feasibility study when we did 5-year projections to get the financing. But there's gonna be probably even somewhat, oh, thank you. Did you read? There's going to be additional staffing, maybe some that we didn't necessarily anticipate. Because one of the things that we've already come up with is we have registration in 2 locations. Sure, we budgeted for the additional registration people in those spots, but right now we have registration reporting up to Charlene as she's over health information management and patient access. We're gonna need somebody to be over patient access because we're gonna be seeing a higher volume of people, and it's just so critical that the registrations are done, you know, accurately and all that, not only from the patient perspective, but also the financial perspective and all that. So there's just things we're already running into. And it's just gonna be, we're gonna have to micromanage this a little bit. And we talked, I think it was in the treasurer's meeting, Jerry, that we talked about that we're gonna go into the budget process, we're gonna have all the department meetings, and then we're going to have like a separate budget meeting group for strategic planning to identify these new services, and then so that we can we
So we
just
can
really have
we can
to,
lay it in, because
we-
you'll
we
have to
just-
do your regular.
Is that the way you would make projections through your strategic planning?
well, the biggest part about it, Ken, is that we have to, it's like where, Rich always says, show me the ROI. That we have to be doing that type of analysis, operational analysis on any new service lines, because we can't introduce a service line, no matter how well intended it is, that doesn't make money. I'm sorry. It just right now is not
Not right now.
not a good time to have a cash drain, because we're gonna have a cash drain just moving into that building. So,
Or just with regard to some of that cash drain, you have some sense of what that looks like yet?
You mean the debt service?
Yeah,
No, we're talking about the cash drain on additional staff support. The trick is the program's trying to stand the program up, there's an investment. And then, it has to calculate the FTE investment, the timing of that
Right.
ad. And then when we're actually gonna start seeing a return, where it starts to, it's tricky. Because you can't rub your crystal ball and know when the program's gonna start becoming profitable. But you've invested time, staff, equipment in some cases, so it's gonna be a very interesting budget year. And
Yeah,
the
because
timing
there's
is
a lot
when
of
you layer it in,
layers to
when you
it.
layer it in.
better you, Steve, than me.
Learning in the unknown.
Well,
Better you than me.
it's everybody
I
does.
could not really fathom doing this, but
it's got my attention.
Yeah.
Very much so. And it also has the attention of Shannon Rouse and our HR person,
Yeah.
because it's not like we have this deep labor pool out in this area. We already fight like heck to staff that building, and now we're looking at different registrars, we're looking at different nurses, especially in long-term care. And, it's not like
Yeah.
we're just gonna be able to put an ad in the paper and away we go.
That was another big thing that they talked about during the Rural Health Transformation Dollar conversation, was around workforce development. And, talking about providing incentives to someone to come in return for 5 years, for example. And, we've talked with Feather River College a little bit, and I wonder if some of these other positions, I don't know how fast it is to train some of these things that we're gonna need, but we have new graduates who are gonna be coming out of the high school. Maybe we can develop some sort of a program around that, where if we get these dollars, we send you to Feather River College to do this training, you come work for us for 5 years. I don't know if there's some opportunity around
I
that.
thought that was, they speak to that, the rural. What is it? I thought that was taken out by legislation that it was considered indentured servitude, or that you can't lock people into commitments in their personal lives. I guess it would be a
It was
payback
specifically
solution.
brought up during the
You
conversation.
have to pay it back,
If you leave, you pick that.
but that puts you into a collections position.
We do a lot of that at the university.
Do they still?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's a good thing to incentivize someone to stick around for a period, to get them to grow their roots if they don't already have them here.
Sure. I agree.
Anyway, sorry, Steve, I didn't want to hijack the conversation.
We're gonna be having a fluid dialogue about all of this, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's really what I wanted to put out to you guys, is that this is the direction we're going, this is what you should expect to see. And the biggest piece is on the budget here, especially as we're looking here, we're looking at fiscal 26-27. You go down from the top, that operating income loss. that's where we're gonna load our budget in. And that's gonna be our first opportunity to truly see what it looks like, because we are going to load those additional costs into the spring of 27, start going into earnestly moving into the facility. And so, this will be a active document.
This is why you
Yeah.
can see now, you can see really the dependency on getting the program generating income early on, you know, getting the clinical income and just generating it. So we don't, you know, we're not front loading it and then trying to start it. We're trying to, like ortho and podiatry and those types of things, trying to get revenue generated to offset some of the costs that are gonna be operational. And
So
it's a timing thing. It's really.
from a budgeting standpoint, I mean, right now we do have podiatry, right now we do have PT and swing. So we can, I think, project out for revenue generation from there, and we know what it's costing us.
Somehow
But for
this is
something
really
like
tied.
ortho,
I'm sorry.
sorry, but for something like ortho where we don't have ortho expanded now, I don't know how we can work that into the budget.
We can.
Okay,
That
thank you.
one, what we wanna steer away from is we wanna steer away from,
Just the best.
I don't want pie in the sky on the budget,
right,
yes.
the stuff that we know, and we do have certain things on the table right now
Okay,
that we're going to be looking at, the things that we've discussed, like the 5 things we're gonna institute, right?
Well, the difficult thing
mammography.
is, the difficult thing is when you don't have a workforce problem and when you're down in the valley, so you can do these things more just
Yeah.
in time.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The recruitment strategy on this is really, you know, Shanna's thing is, so you start your recruitment way up here and then you find somebody, you don't dare pass them up, and then you have to absorb that. It's
So-
a whole lot different. when
And then
you're
they have
someplace where there's a lot of-
preferences, yeah.
Well, and that's just something that, you know, either I mean, we probably will modify the budget halfway through the year, but, I mean, if we're brought a package that says, here's ortho, here's what it's gonna cost us, here's where we're gonna start making it back, and we approve that, even though it's not currently worked into the budget, well, then we approve it and it gets somehow, I don't know if we actually update the budget itself, but we start seeing where the numbers are and we have a notation about why.
Exactly.
So, yeah, cause I just don't see how we can project revenue and expenses for something that we don't have. Yeah.
Well,
Or- Yeah, or even
Or
when
no
it's gonna
way.
start to hit.
Exactly.
It's not, I mean,
Okay.
this is, I don't wanna rub the crystal ball. It's not rubbing the crystal ball, but the thing about the projections where you think it's going to hit is really an educated guess as it relates to need, availability, those, and you put it out there and you might hit, you might not. You might be a little delayed, you might not, but we have to absorb that in the operations.
And it just seems to take so much time with, you know, the interfaces. You know, the IT interfaces with these new programs, like how long it took for the Butterfly interface to get implemented. And then being able to bill for that billing interface.
You're thinking about mammal right now.
Well, not even, I mean, just any new
Technology, we're
any
talking-
new technology that has to enter, because you have to document, it has to be documented in Cerner. You know, what you're
Oh.
providing, and then you have to be able to bill for that. It just seems to take a long time.
It's gonna be a fascinating year.
Mhm.
Some of this is kind of tied to how much excitement there is in the community, new hospital, I'm gonna go access services. And that's a variable that's gonna really be hard to.
Well, I can tell you, one of the ingredients in this is gonna be public relations and getting it out there. You've gotta be able to make sure that the program is in the community. They understand it, so they start to use it. This can't be a secret.
Right.
Right.
It can't be a secret.
Well, we did a good job. I think we've done a good job with podiatry thus far. I mean, there's so much excitement.
But it's nice, some people even with podiatry, someone said, it's a children's doctor, and I said, no, it's a podiatry. So people just, if you're not in the medical field, even the word podiatry to you might be completely
Yeah,
foreign.
that's some of the more common ones like
That's very
cardiology,
true.
orthopedics,
Yeah.
you know, those things, they're resonating easier, but like swing's a great example.
And
No one has a clue what swing is.
But once you explain it, then people are excited, because
Yeah,
they're like, oh, yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
you need that service, that is great.
yeah, and he does do or doesn't do, here I am asking, ankle surgeries, ankles.
Nope.
Oh, ankles. I've had people ask me
He
that.
does feet. I don't believe he does anything. I don't believe he does.
Not.
No,
Okay.
doesn't, no, no.
Okay.
So.
All right,
You
Okay.
scared me, Steve.
You're supposed to be scared,
Well,
because we are.
I'm
Sense it.
excited
Yeah.
and scared.
I think it's gonna be fine, but it's gonna take, you can't just do the budget and forget about it. And then every month show it. It's gonna have to be in a constant paying attention to where we are.
a lot of moving parts.
Boy, is there ever.
So, last thing I want to say, the last two things. One is the revenue cycle reports that you can look through there. We're looking forward to March. I think a lot of issues are getting resolved, and I think the numbers are gonna look significantly better by the end of March, so maybe we'll have a little more time to talk about it. And the last thing is, we did get some good news this week. We met with the USDA, and as you don't have to go there, Ethan, but in the interim financing analysis document that I produced, shows the various accounts that we have. We have 4 accounts. We have our certificate of participation project fund, which is used to pay for the non-construction costs of the project. Then we have 2 interest funding accounts. I don't know why 2, but that is where we do the how we service the COP debt, which is interest only. We pay it semi-annually. And then the 4th one is the general obligation note project fund, which is used to pay the construction costs. All 4 of those earn interest, and because of the timing of how we receive our draws and make our disbursements, we build up reserve, we build up fairly large reserves in there and had funds held in there. And we have in our COP account, we have a little over $300,000 that we've earned in interest income. And the USDA this week said, well, that's your money. You know, you issued the debt, you didn't get it from us. So we asked them, are there restrictions on what we can do with it? They said, it's not as far as we're concerned. So we're gonna be able to roll the 300,000, the big amount of it is in the project fund, the COP project fund. And so we're gonna be able to roll it into the interest funding account. And this will allow us to satisfy our funding obligations, which normally would have. Can you just drop that down just a tiny bit so I can read the top? The other top. There we go. Obviously the 26, yeah, just down a little bit more. So this August would have been our last monthly funding on the COPs. And then we'd have it all set to pay off the interest at the end of the project. If we move in the 300,000 into that account, that would cut us 3 months off of having to make those payments. But what we've talked about in the treasurer's meeting and otherwise is that what we may do is we'll just keep, since we can handle that, you know, for now, till other circumstances arise. I think what truly will happen is we're gonna start seeing more revenue. I think we really are. Shelley, one thing, I think we're gonna hit budget on swing bed this month. We're at 23, we're averaging 1 per day right now. So,
Wow.
I think we had 2 at one time.
Wow.
But we're averaging 1 per day, which hits our budgeted target, so I think we're gonna see that. our revenue in March is up, so again, the excitement of having the podiatry and the whole women's specialist is gonna be great. So, I think we're gonna see better performance there, so we're gonna outdo that first. Then when we get into the transition, that's a whole different game. But the point is that what we'd like to do is try and don't stop doing the funding, we're just gonna put it into our own account. And we think that if we can do that, by the time we roll around to the opening of the hospital, that we'll have our debt service for the first year covered. And that would, then all we'd be looking at is operations, we wouldn't have to do that debt service, and I think that would be great. So, and once we get in that hospital and it gets running and we start filling up the nursing home, then we're gonna start generating that profitability that the feasibility study showed that we could do, but.
That's a huge thing, to be able to take care of that debt service for the first year, because that allows the programs that we're trying to develop to.
Yeah.
To root,
Yeah.
and really start to work on them, and that takes that really far.
Yeah.
So,
And when we were talking about the skill, way back when, we were talking about just opening one wing to start with. Are we still talking about doing it that way?
Well, we can't do it that way logistically because there's only,
13 beds.
basically 13 beds on each side. So we've got 2 pods, north and south. And so we have to divide them up somewhat, initially, and then start building into the pods incrementally.
I think we were worried about staffing, trying to have it available for all of the beds to start with.
So, yes, so we would probably have to, add an LVN. So we would take our current 16, okay, and our current staff, and then start building,
As we add staff, then we can bring in new residents.
Are the pods gender separated, is that it? No? How are you separating pod 1 from pod 2, or
It
doesn't matter, random,
doesn't
got
really,
it?
I mean, we're not in the cohort, a male and female, almost there.
Right.
Right. But, yeah, it's really a matter of how. I'm hoping that as we get closer and closer, we will have vetted, the next 4 residents that will be joining us, right? Even before we. The next 4 and that sort of thing, so allowing all the staff to get comfortable in their pods, we already know our current residents, we got that advantage. Allowing dietary to keep up tray lines and all of that, so it's, we don't have 100%. Those are the exercises of our TSCs. That's what we're currently working on.
and we don't expect that there is going to be any kind of regulatory break pumping on this, like they did a PVH a little bit, didn't they say you can only go so far because it's brand new to them?
Well, I think they just have a lot of systems and staff.
Okay, so I would,
State that.
if I were here, I would really like to see that thing completely full within 6 months.
And do we currently have a waiting list for SNF?
Oh, yeah.
So, there's no worries.
Can I
Filling
ask
it.
something? Are the residents, are they going to be retaining the same rate that
Yeah.
is furnished to us over here? Is it like grandfathered in for the current residents, and does it go up higher?
We set our nursing home rates at Medi-Cal rates, and they will it's the same for private pay patients, we charge the same bed rate. But we do provide a discount to private pay patients for paying their, just like we
So
should.
the answer is yes.
Good question.
But it will move, and I guarantee you it's gonna go. When we start, factoring in depreciation on that space and everything, so. Maybe if we get more people, it dilutes it down, but it certainly will be at first a little bit higher, so.
For budgeting purposes, we're gonna budget at 16 or 15.
That's a good question.
If we have 4 people lined up, we'll budget at 20.
I think what we'll look at, and Jerry, we talked about this a little bit, is that we're gonna lay down the feasibility study. Because they put in assumptions on our growth and our revenue
That's what
volume
they did.
and things like that, but we've already seen that there's gonna be some variations from that, but that'll be the starting point on how we look at things. But yeah,
Thank you. I'm also going, is it 26, 27? Is it 27, 28? Like where are we falling in this?
they weren't, of course, they were conservative in the thing they did. And they weren't quite as ambitious as this guy over
Yeah.
here.
Well, I'm gonna be fishing, so, but it is ambition.
You're gonna be listening to a lot of complaints.
Yeah, well, I do know. But it's, I am ambitious. I personally, you push the envelope, keep pushing till you get there, and then you take the time to calm and settle it down. And it's all about the generating revenue, because that's the biggest thing right now is we have the big debt service. We've got this new facility. And Brady's gonna have to generate revenue, and they're gonna have to figure out the timing on that and what the capacity of the staff's going to be. Can they stay with it? Can we recruit?
Can we train?
Can we train
Yes, too.
appropriately? And
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot of spinning plates.
Is it fair to say recruitment is getting easier? It sure appears to be.
It'll be easier, I think, there.
There, yeah, I do agree.
I think when they come over there and they look at the new workspace, you're gonna see a lot more people's eyebrows go up. Like,
But there's been, I mean, movement in that area right now.
yes, doctors, providers. I think it'll-
Now we need the support staff getting excited and wanting,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's to your point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, all sports. I mean, working in a brand new commercial kitchen, we'll see what happens there. Housekeeping, working in a brand new facility with lots and lots of support for housekeeping. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be good.
Should be very interesting, Steve.
Yep.
Get this all laid out.
Thank
Thank
I'm an
you.
optimist, sorry.
Do you have anything else you wanna add?
No, that's it. Thank
Any
you.
questions for Steve?
Oh,
But thank you very much.
That works, Steve.
Appreciate it.
Good information, scary, but good.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so I think that brings us then to item number 8. New critical access hospital, skilled nursing facility, contingency usage, informational number 014. Donna, are you still with us?
am. Alrighty, so this is a contingency usage request that is below the tier 1 threshold from resolution 452, so it's informational to the board. It is a supplement to cover the overage of earthwork observations. So we have the same company doing the earthwork observation as is doing the special testing and inspection. What's referenced here in the note is that the special testing for the building is they feel that where we are in the project, they're able to reduce that contract and use that money to supplement the overage that's on this contract, which is the earthwork observation one. So they need for work done to compensate for work they've done to date, as well as what they anticipate moving forward. They need to supplement the earthwork contract by 110,000, but 90,000 of that they are wanting to move from the special testing and inspection contract to this contract. So there is a deficit of 20,000 that we need to pull from contingency to cover the full overage for the earthwork observation contract. And then that leaves our owner's contingency $20,000 less from last month, which at the 1.3 million, 1,316,733. And the construction contingency does not change.
So Donna, will you remind me why this one comes out of owners instead of construction contingency?
The contract.
Yeah, so the way we've been doing it is only the Monley Hamlin Descor contract is the one that is using construction contingency. I think that There's, if we want to consider that moving forward, I don't think it has to be that way, but that is how we've been tracking it.
Thank you for that. Any questions for Donna on this? Yes. Okay, thank you, Donna. And then I think that brings us back to the item that we had approved to add to the agenda. This will be a new number 9, which is the PG&E easement.
Yes. So that one, was the one that we discussed at last month's meeting, that, we did go back to both legal as well as to PG&E, and, I don't think it's on the, oh, there you go,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you. So we did ask the questions of PG&E of whether firstly, if it truly is a necessity, given the language that was in that exhibit. They did indicate that they will not service the building. They will not provide power to the building without the easement. So that's first and foremost. We did ask if there were some terms that could be added to the easement, such as consideration for notification, clarification of timing or frequency of the servicing, as well as clarification of the extent of the easement once you're past the transformer. So it was confirmed that it's just to the transformer, but they were not amenable to any other terms. So we're kind of back to that. In order to get service to the building, this easement needs to be recorded.
So basically they said, we're PG&E and we don't care what you think.
Not exactly that way, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Not those words exactly.
Are they undergrounding the power to the building?
Yep.
Yes.
It's coming off the pole, going into a switch and then undergrounding.
Okay.
The biggest thing and the most important thing here that we have to remember is that without this easement, we can't even get on their project timeline. And it's critical path to energize the building.
Yeah, and that's why we.
So, we could bat back and forth the longer we do. We don't even get on their project timeline. We don't get scheduled. And we have to energize that building this year. So that's why this is such an important thing.
All right, then reluctantly, do I have a motion to?
I motion to approve. I don't have to.
You say it.
Yeah, I reluctantly approve.
Reluctantly make a motion. Do I reluctantly have a second?
I'll second.
Do you reluctantly second?
Well, I appreciate the board making this go back to the lawyers. The lawyers looked this over and basically said, hey, we can beat this thing to death if you want with them.
But
you have a time, cost you money,
I mean,
and you guys have a milestone that you gotta hit.
And they know that, that's why they
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
Of course they do.
All right, all in favor, Ken, Shelley,
aye.
Rich,
Aye.
reluctantly, aye. Okay,
Right.
moving right along. Thank you, Donna. We're on number 10. New critical access hospital skilled nursing facility general update.
Yes. Alrighty, so on this the schedule I just want to note that on the general summary I did update a clarification indicating that contractually where the first patient would fall. It was pointed out in the strategic planning meeting that it might be a little confusing. So we just wanted to make sure it was ultra clear to the board that the contractual estimated first patient would be September 8th of 2027. But again, we have a target certificate of occupancy and first patient that we are getting from the contractor on a monthly basis. We are what I had reported last month was was currently tracking for certificate of occupancy, a target certificate of occupancy at April 14th of 2027 and first patient of June 14th of 2027. We did get a report, the last report of the schedule from the general contractor had that target certificate of occupancy extended to May 20th of 27, so a little more than a month later than reported last month. But we're additionally, they are asking for 18 days of contractual schedule extension that we are still reviewing. So we're at this point just updating the board of what is being reported by the contractor, but we're in negotiations with them on the ad contractually, as well as we're working to get more information about why the date is slipping for the target certificate of occupancy. This is just a general update of where we are, but nothing set in stone for changes from from either the target certificate of occupancy or the contractual certificate of occupancy. And then I did want to update the board that we do have although the report is indicating that the concurrence of the schedule ad is pending with USDA, we just got that today. We just got approval today on the from USDA on the schedule ad. So that is that then therefore makes it official, the what's indicated in that general summary for the contractual dates.
Thank you for making that update, Donna.
Of course. Alrighty, moving on, tracking for the budget at the 80.5 million, no changes to that. Contingency usage requests, I'm gonna go through this because I just got some more updates today. So we have all but let's see. So we have all the change orders for Monley Hamlin approved through contingency usage request 11, noting that 11 isn't Monley Hamlin. And so we have change orders 4, 5, 6, and 7 have been approved since the last board meeting. So we are almost up to date. I'm getting the change order 8 in either today or tomorrow or likely tomorrow at this time, for the contingency usage requests 12 and 13. And then as far as soft costs updates, soft costs approval by USDA of the contingency usage request, there's just a couple minor ones that are pending, but they have really caught up with approving contracts, approving change orders. So we're really pretty soon this section is going to be really small and we'll be all caught up to date.
And we're moving back to the original process of getting their approvals prior to getting Western Alliance approvals and then funds being released. So
To make everybody happy.
yeah.
Alrighty. Nothing really to report on permitting. We continue to have change documents that are ongoing with HCI. But nothing truly of note there. For medical equipment planning, if we go to the last page of the report, you'll see the only update this last month for equipment is that we actually reduced the amount to the project because it was decided that we're going to, so there were 4 beds for the SNF that rather than move them over, it was decided to do a net new to the facility. So we took the dollars out, the $10,000 that's indicated on that last page. If you scroll all the way down, that $10,000 in the fourth column from the left is putting the money back into the budget so that we can do all net new beds. So that's the only change within the last month there. Then going back up to construction, wall framing, rough-in of electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and med gas, and fire sprinklers is ongoing. As Sean reported, we're on the verge of they've done the green board above the ceilings in many locations, but we're on the verge of actually putting some drywall on the lower portion of the walls pending. We're doing an in-place test of the windows next week before proceeding with that. So that's the constraint that we're looking at there.
How does that get tested, Donna?
How? Just a nozzle
Yeah.
test. So just spraying water at it. It's not like the mock-up was a lot more stringent of a test. We actually had suction on the inside as we were spraying it on the mock-up, and so this is a more or less stringent than the one that we did on the mock-up already.
Thank you.
Support services building, we continue to work toward getting that moving forward. PG&E, we've talked about, I added that in here and I'll take it out next week or next month, but to talking about the questions raised. So there's a little bit more information there on that. Long lead items, I still don't have dates for these yet, apologies, but we'll continue to expand on these on this list and the associated dates as soon as I can get them from the contractor. As was reported with USDA, things are we're getting payouts every outlay requests approved for 14 through 20. We now have all of those approved by both USDA and Western Alliance Bank, our interim funding source. And 21 was just submitted, and that was for work in February. There was a little bit of a lag on that one due to getting the updated USDA form and back and forth with the contractor on the pay app, but that one was submitted today, and then we'll be soon submitting outlay request 22. And then lastly, on the licensing staff and stock, the contract was executed between Seneca and Yellow Brick Consulting. And we have our kickoff meeting for the transition and activation planning for that meeting scheduled for next Thursday. So we'll get that going with all the guidance on the licensing, primarily on that scope of work.
And will that incorporate your meetings that you're having now with the managers into this?
That's what we're gonna hammer out next week to, really kind of dial in the scope of their work here.
Yeah.
Those will cross over to them.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yes.
Yeah, not gonna duplicate your effort.
But I want the managers to be kind of shored up so that they already know what their things are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Thank you, Donna. Anything to add or any questions for Donna? I hear none. Thank you, Donna. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so then that brings us then to item number 11, board committee updates and discussion. We had our kickoff, I guess, strategic planning committee meeting. It's number 11 now.
11 is
because
policies
we
and
actually-
Looked another one.
yeah, but we added the easement.
Right,
there. Yeah,
right.
I renumbered mine. So yeah, so on March 10th, we had our strategic planning committee meeting, and we had staff, and we had a really good conversation and dialogue. Rich, I don't know if you have anything you want to specifically bring up. But we talked about some various things. We talked about potential added service lines. We talked about the campus, talked about a community survey, which we decided we had already done and we could take off our list for next time. And then we talked a little bit about the funding. Do you mind bringing up the link that I sent to you? So if you go to page 52, so in the conference, everything, like I said, was very pie in the sky, like basically anything you can think of could possibly be, money to get through this grant. But if you go to page 52, for me, is it not going?
So,
I don't know if it'll look like the way you're trying, I just had to scroll when I was doing it. But there's more detail, this is the application the state submitted. So, yeah, and here's the metrics. And so my question for the group, now obviously not to answer right now, but to consider is whether the things that we are thinking of doing, could you make it just a tiny bit bigger? Thank you. My thought is that anything that we think might fall under these dollars, we may want to try and figure out how to make the case within these metrics that they have. So this isn't approved yet by the federal government, but most of the dollars that they've applied for have been. It sounded like there's still about 50 million that they're looking at, but that will probably get reallocated amongst the items and the focus they have outlined in these. And so, things like we were talking about the MRI, they're talking about, some of these other things that from the pie in the sky conversations we were having at the conference sounded like, oh, sure, those might actually work. But then you look at these outcome measures and I'm not sure they fit.
Right.
So, I was gonna ask if we could all kind of do some thinking around this and maybe do, not a board committee meeting, but another subsection for our strategic planning, just a subgroup so that we can kind of maybe dive into this a little more before they still haven't released the applications, as I'm sure you guys all know. They still don't have a date for when they're gonna release it either. But from what I was hearing, it sounded like it'll be released springish. I mean, we're in spring right now. And then and you tell me if I'm saying anything wrong from what you're hearing, but it sounded like they're gonna be making determinations at the state level early summer. And then I think it goes to the federal government to approve that, right? Before it's official.
CMS.
Yeah, and then the money has to get spent before, I thought it was all of 27, but in here it says it has to get spent by the end of September of 27.
That's correct.
So.
And then they have to award it by September of 26, by the end of.
They were saying
Yeah, this
October, I
fiscal
think,
year.
but yeah,
So a year to spend it, or
Yeah.
at least is that to spend it all or initiate it?
no, to spend it, otherwise they take it back and they distribute it somewhere else.
Okay.
Yes,
Eat me.
yeah, so anything that we do
It's a year.
go for, we have to be sure that we're gonna be able to do it and spend it before September. of
Well, the
27.
things that we're submitting, I think that
Yes.
a lot of it we can do.
Yeah, I think we can spend it, I think, there's the 5 categories for submittal, so those are 2 of them, and then I think down below some more 5. I think we just have to gear it towards like Jerry said, the metrics, and
Incorporate that into the
Yeah.
proposals and.
because they're gonna look for these key metrics and
Yeah,
keywords.
yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't talk about any of this part at all during the meeting, but they kept referring to, there was a few places where they referred to the California application, so finally I just went and found it. And most of the rest of it is all like repeats of the same thing, just written in a different way. You look through it too, yeah. Another thing that they were very, very focused on in the meeting was the whole hub and spoke idea. And collaboration, which is why we thought the MRI would work. If you look in here though, it says that we're a spoke. I consider us a hub. I consider this whole area to be spokes to us, but in this application, it specifically says that rural hospitals are a spoke. So I don't know how that plays into all this either.
Up to higher levels of care, like renowned.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about, renowned.
Yeah, there's the.
Yeah, urology, I mean, GI.
Rich, are you,
Could be great.
your video's on?
Oh, your video's on there, dude. Nice shades, nice Foster Grants.
You wanna add anything on this? Are you hearing anything about this?
No, I have nothing to add on this. I have questions, but nothing to add.
Yeah, I think we all have questions.
Oh, So,
And it looks, and you know, in kind of how this is written and who was there too, it seems like the technology entities are really trying to,
vying for that money,
yeah,
they're gonna fight for the money.
yeah. And so, I mean, you know, Brady and I talked about it, and this year is probably our best chance of getting anything, because it's such a short time frame to turn it over, and everyone's trying to figure it out, and then they have to award it.
Especially if we're
So-
early and we're ready and we get it in there,
Exactly.
because that's why what you've been talking about, spinning that stuff up, it's already 3/4 done. That's when it's really gonna,
Just may need a little tweaking.
yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
yeah,
I just,
it's an opportunity.
when you look through this, I'm getting the vibe that it's, like you said, word spoke, it's the organizations that they're calling the hubs, that this is.
Well, and that's why if we can work in,
Serving,
Mhm,
yeah.
that's kind of how it was written, yes. But from that standpoint, you know, a big part of this too was universities and colleges. I looked at this and went, oh, okay, because they were first on the list of the different entities that are participating in this. That's partly why I was thinking, well, if there's some way we can partner with Feather River College for our immediate workforce needs, maybe that fits in here. I don't know, but
Jerry, the thing about it is that the hub and spoke is all about the idea, anyway, or historically, is that they're saying that rural areas don't have access to certain care.
Mhm.
Therefore, their patients and the beneficiaries of the insurance don't have it, and so that's why they're saying, hook your deal to a hub. But I think if you come at it from showing that a rural environment could be the hub for this, you know, the spoke for other, I think
that's how I look at us.
it satisfies the solving the access to care, and it's also innovative. And, you know, gets bonus points for that, so I think that it's all about, the word that I heard from my group, and I mentioned this to you, when, on my call on Wednesday, what they said is that they're talking about access to care is now the kind of the buzzword that they're throwing out there. You know, and it was in relation to that they pulled back that 50 million from direct payments to distressed hospitals. And
Yeah.
they said, well, why can't we figure out how to get direct distressed hospitals more business? You know, and access to their service area, and things like that for their patients. And so I think this,
We can work that, yeah.
it absolutely is gonna, well, they can obviously know, right?
So we're in a unique situation where we can, under the metrics here, we can actually put these grants forward, these grant requests forward, both as a spoke. I'll give you an example, and a hub. So we will be a hub for certain things, especially as we start to do more like orthopedic surgery and stuff like that, we become more of a hub. Right? But we also, for like mammography, for instance, if you can say in the grant that digital mammography being a access to care, but being able to articulate that we have a pathway into like if something's discovered, we have a pathway into a higher level of care, which is a hub for oncological care, for genetic testing, for surgical, and that's how I see this has to kind of work, is we're gonna have a device, but we have thought beyond the device. We have thought now to access into a
Care of
yeah,
our patient.
and vice versa, if we want to be the hub, it goes out there, but it hubs in this way, it comes in this way for certain things. So using this and being able to articulate that we have, that we're collaborating in a lot of ways with higher levels of care, but we want to provide the access locally. That's where I think that we're really gonna be able to win on this one.
Well, and the other part that stuck out at me when I was looking at this part too, was where it was talking about virtual visits, and I just thought immediately of partnership. And
Yeah,
the access that I think we're supposed to be able to get toward the fall of this year, right? To be able to expand our telemedicine, our virtual medicine.
Virtual
Visits
medicine.
for our patients. And so what does that look like? Does that just
That's-
look like them coming in to see us? Does that look like them being able to use their device for behavioral health in their own home, so they don't feel like they
maybe,
might be looked
this
at.
is tricky, this is a
Yeah.
tricky one, because you have a payer that's wanting to, that's kind of offering that up. But then you have someone like Renown that wants to offer their telehealth service or their virtual services to us. So there, you know, there's the payer that wants to do it, and then they don't want you to use. They want you to use their equipment, that way they're hooked into you. So it's really weird because, hey, partnership wants to do this too. But you're hooked into
What's
someone.
better for our patients?
Well,
That's
yeah,
the question. Is there a question that eventually Renown is gonna say that you have to sign up for this there?
You don't know where it's gonna go, it's potential, there's potential, but I think these are the little, the nuance to this that strategically you have to pay attention
Yeah,
to.
no, I agree. I'm just bringing it up because that was something that popped
Yeah.
in immediately when I was.
For sure, I would love to see home devices, you know, be able to do virtual care with home devices.
They talk about in multiple, like,
You can submit multiple applications.
do they say like one per heading? Okay.
No, it was just asked whether you could submit multiple applications and the answer given was yes, there was no guardrails discussed. But, you know, then I'm sure they could change it if they, when they issue the application, but no, they did not put a condition on that. And, you know, if we develop a handful, maybe we can use it, whatever they don't, maybe we can apply somewhere else for. Yeah.
When we were talking to Gary back, you know, we just referenced, because I think Reno or Nevada's getting 188 million. And they only have 12 or so critical access hospitals, we're getting 233, and we have how many?
Yeah.
200 something critical access hospitals or something like that. I think, I look at Gary, but winner, you guys are just, they're gonna get a lot of money.
Well, which.
And he's like,
might
you see him
be.
scratching his head going, huh. There'd be, maybe there's our hub.
But the entire state is essentially doing business in rural.
Pretty much.
The Las Vegas base and Reno base, they're having outreach and stuff, so.
Yeah.
The curious is that he was saying that Intermountain Health moving in because they know this hub and spoke. So now we have Intermountain Health from moving in from Utah. And Banner is starting to encroach. So there's all this opportunity for these rurals to, I know they do, and that's to attach themselves to these rurals to go for that.
This is just year one.
Anyway, so really
Yeah,
interesting stuff.
so I don't know, Rich, do you
I
want?
hope it goes to the people that need it the most. I really do.
I do, yeah.
That's the problem, is you fight with the bigs.
Okay, so I guess more to come on this. I just wanted to kind of bring this forward and.
It's money.
Talk about it.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. All right, so nothing more on that. Let's go on to item number 12, policies and procedures. Questions, comments, motion to approve.
I was glad to see that the charity care term in the policies had been moved to financial assistance. I think that'll be better received.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Motion to approve the policies and procedures as presented.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, Shelley?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And I will vote aye. So that brings us to item number 13, medical staff report. Requesting board approval for medical staff appointments as approved at the March 10th medical exec staff meeting. We have several initial appointments, telepsych, cardiology, reappointment, telepsych, and initial, no, I think it's just Grace. And reappointments. I have a motion to approve as presented by the medical staff.
Make the motion to approve.
Thank you. I'll second. Thank you. All in favor? Rich?
Aye.
Ken?
Aye.
Shelley? Aye. And I will vote aye. So that brings us to item number 14, which is our closed session. Meeting in with regards to health and safety code 32106, report involving trade secrets, employee appointment, government code section 54957, office of labor negotiators 54957.6, and one listing. Thank you. All right, we are. We're out of closed session, an open session, no reportable actions taken during closed session. Future board meeting agenda topics. You know, I had on here board planning session. That was really supposed to be around kind of our whole strategy, but I feel like we have a better way of doing that now with our committee and then bringing the committee's meeting discussions here. If everyone's amenable, I'm just gonna remove that. And we can't really do like an offsite thing because Brown Act stuff. Any other items you guys wanna add that we don't have, just let me know. And then I just have listed on here, just for everyone's reminder, our 2026 board committee meeting schedule. I'm just gonna keep this on here for every agenda, just so we can remind ourselves what's coming up by.
We don't have time, specific times identified yet for these.
And they're all at 2 p.m. I
I'm sorry.
didn't put that on there today, sorry. They're all at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yes,
Here.
yes. Mhm. And then as a reminder, you know, everyone's welcome to come. If you're not part of that committee, you have to just listen. And then wait for our next regular meeting to provide your feedback and input.
Well, in some of this, when I look at bylaws committee, which we're on, and
All set.
we've got the electronic copy, I'd like to get a hard copy so I can scribble on it and.
Our copy of the bylaws?
Yeah.
We can ask Deborah for that.
You, or like.
Yes.
And I'm wondering how we identify, I wanna look at the bylaws, but that's so long since I've seen them, but I really wanna see which staff might be available to help us in some of these areas to see if anything's changed that impacts this, and I don't know who those staff persons would be.
Deborah as the clerk will certainly be able to help, but I think that, Kristen in med staff is excellent at this kind of stuff, so she really is. She's tackling their bylaws now, so.
So I mean, I wanna make sure, you know, we take them offline for a while to participate in the meeting to give us.
Yeah,
Some
it
feedback.
depends on who it is, probably.
Judy probably would be here.
Yeah, very, I'm sure.
Yeah, these are the official board committee meetings. You can have sub team meetings to work out some details and things
Right.
too, and then have this be the main discussion and, you know, this is what we wanna have it be or whatever, and then bring that to the full board for review.
Did you still want to have, BPK send us like templates of new updates? Did you
Well,
want?
that's for the governance committee, and I had sent that information over to Sherry to coordinate since I'm not part of that, and so,
Yeah,
yes.
same deal then with the
With the bylaws,
bylaws.
Yeah.
Is, you know, when we finished them last time, they reviewed.
we did have them review.
And I think one of the, probably the easiest way to approach it might be just ask them to
Right,
look at it
changes.
for us and tell us what's
I think
changed.
that's a good idea.
Well, that's a really good suggestion.
And
Yeah,
they'll tell you what needs to. The statute changes and they're very good at just saying, hey, make sure that these are in there.
yeah, and we tried taking out all the very specific language last time, so hopefully there's not too much of that, but, I agree, I think that it makes sense to run it past them first.
Yeah.
And, because before it didn't make any sense, because it was so convoluted and just outdated language and all this stuff. They were really interesting before.
Yeah,
It actually had text from the law.
in it.
Yes, they were many pages
Oh,
and just
yeah.
all of this stuff.
Right.
It just had to go, yeah. So it took us a long time.
That may not be applicable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now I think they should be a lot cleaner.
Deborah, is it being recorded?
Yes,
Okay.
and they're asking for hard copies of the bylaws, if you don't mind. for the-
Well, yeah, I can email them,
Well, they want.
Oh, they want physical. Okay, you got it.
Maybe, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know,
cool.
a
I
minute.
don't think they're gonna take that much.
You want it right now?
If you don't. want
They
it.
went,
Yeah, I can do that.
I went through them when I first got here, you guys went through, so should be pretty close. Which thing,
What's that?
your bylaws should be pretty up to date.
They should be. There might be a couple of changes, like, for example, I think that, you might consider, instead of having a bylaws committee, having a governance committee that also takes care of the bylaws. Because then things like what Charlene was talking about can fall under that. Because right now, the governance committee that we set up is an ad hoc committee. It's not an official, it's not a standing committee of the board.
That gives you a little more flexibility.
And more things that I think that probably our board committees should be looking at and reviewing that doesn't really get captured in our current.
How many bylaws are there?
Much.
You mean how many pages you mean, or?
Individual bylaws.
We just have the board bylaws and we have med staff bylaws.
Okay.
Just the two, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and theirs are even older. I mean, they have updated them throughout the years, but they haven't really done a
Kristen's
full.
doing them now.
Yeah, they haven't
It's a
really done a
lot of work.
I'm
So,
sure. Yeah.
But yours are
Okay.
pretty updated.
Ours are a lot better. They shouldn't probably require too much, except like I said, maybe looking at that.
Okay.
I just don't know what's changed since.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with you. Do you need me to send you the contact information for sending it to legal?
Yeah, who was it?
It's Noel.
It's no.
No,
And it's our primary focal
I
point.
can send an email to you with their information.
And I believe that if she doesn't do it, she'll pass it off to somebody in the firm,
Yeah, she
but
will.
She helped us last time.
quite good, yeah.
She helps us all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm new to this, so I'll be learning this with you.
Well, I'm not an
Noel,
expert by any means.
She's amazing. She's a
We
great
just
lawyer.
finally landed on instead of trying to rewrite all the bylaws
Right.
ourselves.
Right.
Submit it and just ask them what.
Yeah, it makes sense for them to tell
And
us.
she's excellent.
Okay.
She really is.
All right, and so with that, our next regular board meeting will be Thursday, April 30th at 2 p.m. here in the conference room. And before that will be the bylaws committee on April 23rd.
We're third.
And
We're
with that,
back.
Yep, I'll be here.
Yep. All right, meeting is adjourned. Thanks. everyone. Okay. Mhm. This mouse moves too fast.